I've got this guy right here, a little Brutus Buckeye. It was sent to me by an Ohio State fan. So we're going to have a little fun today on the show. It is the Michigan Football Report Live. I'm putting him here because he's going to be punishment. It's going to be a reminder to all of you guys. I got some beers here in the cooler as we are live here on YouTube. It is the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. We have all kinds of things to talk about today, but we're going to keep the show a little unscripted. It's not going to be as structured as maybe you might see in past year, past shows or anything like that. But we have right now 6 minutes and 3 seconds left. Kentucky, number 4 in the country, up 1 on Michigan State. As soon as that game is over, we will get the college football playoff top 25 rankings. I've got the representative from the committee outside of our door ready to hand producer Jack what is he giving it? Cold envelopes, and they just have the results one by one. We put them up on screen as soon as they come in. So let's get this party started. Let's get some Go Blues here in the live chat. Type a Go Blue, and we've got Bosa's coming in from Troy Wilson, Brad Bugert, Bugertre, Brad, I hope I'm not hacking your name there. Renato Swan, Rick Haffer, Michael Bettisworth, Mitch Kappas, Renato Swan again, John Pelotti, I skipped a couple in there. Cool Moti, my guy. Piccadilly Circus and some other ones. I like that one from Mike Harris. CJ Stroud sucks. That's a good one. Bosa's coming in. Now we got the Go Blues flowing from Scoobyism 3. A Bosa from Austin Cardwell, Jason V. Myers. We got an F from F Ohio State from Grant Canfield. I don't know what's going on there. Bosa, Go Blue. A lot of Go Blues. A lot of Bosa's coming in. Go Blue from Michael Harris from Lancaster, Ohio. Alex Latore, love you, Yoder. Sup? I don't know, Alex, that could be a chick. You never know. If it's a guy, also love you, Alex. But chick, sup? No, never mind. Yoder for President from Rick Harfer. Anthony Spiout says Bosa. Beat Illinois. We got a bunch of Go Blues. Craig Stark says F Ohio. I'm going to show that one in the chat. Let's Go Blue from 313 Smooth J. And Antonio Lira, Go Blue. And Corey Mankins, Go Blue from Columbus, Ohio. My kind of guy, deep in territory. I grew up in Ohio as well. Family grew up, from Michigan originally. And it was fun when I was growing up, the 90s. Michigan won every year. Good thing I left Ohio right around the time for college. Around the time Michigan started losing to Ohio State, but now we're back. Now we are back. Win Wang, he's been in there saying Bosa all day long. Carl, he's from Rushville. Carl, shout out to Carl Cordell. He just got his Michigan football T-shirt for being one of our comment winners about a month ago. So, Carl, you should tweet that photo of you wearing that bad boy on Twitter. Maybe we'll put it up on the show or something like that. Bosa from Tyler Stossel. Bosa from Ryan. Let's keep the chat live. Let's keep it popping. Let's keep it hot. We have got the college football playoff live top 25 rankings coming up in probably 15 minutes at this point right now based on the progress of this game. 100 plus people watching. Make sure you guys like the video. Only have 26 likes on the show so far, and we are now 4 minutes into this stream. Let's keep it rolling. We're just going to kind of start asking you guys some Michigan football related question. The best Michigan offensive lineman of all time. Look, if you're under 25 years old, you're probably going to say, who's it? Jake, who am I missing? Jake Long, right? So some people might say, Steve Hutchinson and different guys from the late 90s, early 2000s. Oluwatimi is making a good run at only 1 year as a Michigan offensive lineman. But let me know what you guys think. Let's keep the chat rolling. I'll take a look at what you guys are thinking. Ray Frazier says, why do you have this in here? I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put it back on the screen. You can leave it there, Jack. We're fine. Hold it up. Someone sent this to me. Someone mailed it to me. So we're going to hold it here. Maybe in a couple moments we can put it up on the screen after we talk about today's presenting sponsor. Okay. We'll talk about it here in a second. But this guy is, he was sent to me by an Ohio State fan. And as such, we're going to have to talk about him here in a second. So you guys are going to have to help me get him off screen coming up here in a few moments. Let me take some of these ones. Taylor Lewan, seen a lot of Taylor Lewan. He's probably the best active NFL player with Jake Long. Retiring Dan Deerdorf saw one of those bad boys as well. Dan Deerdorf, Steve Hutchinson, of course, Taylor Lewan, Jake Long for sure, number one pick in the 2008 NFL Draft. A 4-year starter for Michigan, 2004, 5, 6, and 7 was Jake Long. I'm just going to go Jake Long because two-time All-Big Ten, two-time All-American, and the number one pick in the 2008 NFL draft. And the number one pick in the Christmas 2020 draft is our presenting sponsor. Our sponsor is Established Titles. We are sponsored by Established Titles, a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland. Why? While helping global reforestation efforts. It's a project based on historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, or in English, lords or ladies. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in lovely Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest, which I've shown on this show multiple times. They plant a tree with every order, and they work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for a Future, to support global reforestation efforts. You could officially be a lord or a lady. You could put that title on your credit card, your plane tickets, your dating profiles. Imagine you match with a girl on Tinder, and she's like, oh my gosh, Lord James Yoder? Woo! It makes a great last-minute gift. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will have a plot in the same little vicinity within walking minutes of my plot as a Scottish lord myself. Depending on how many you want to become a lord or a lady this holiday season, we can build our own little Michigan football kingdom in Edelston, Scotland. It makes it a great, amazing last-minute gift this holiday season. Think about what you've done in the past. You've named a star after somebody, or you've gotten somebody some moon rocks, or you've named a mile on the highway. You've donated the mile of highway. This is very similar, and you get this nice framed plaque that they send you. They've got Black Friday deals up to 80% off right now. You can get an extra 10% off with that link, establishedtitles.com/chat. That's establishedtitles.com/chat. I'm going to toss the link in the live chat here. Jack, if you got it right here, no worries. I got it right there. Toss in the live chat. Become a Scottish Lord with Established Titles, establishedtitles.com/chat. Today's sponsor of the Michigan Football Report Live. All right, we've got a super chats already coming in from, what's that say, Hexy Ace. Michigan, this is tough to read, Jack. Michigan does not have any big wins over tough teams. So what he's doing there, he's doing, what's that, SpongeBob? He's a SpongeBob. Michigan does not have any wins over that. You guys have seen that meme, right? Any tough teams. The Suckeyes struggled versus the only 2 games all year, Notre Dame and Penn State, right? Notre Dame, they were trailing at halftime, only won 21-10. Penn State, they were down with 9 minutes left in the game. I mean, Michigan was up 41-7 or 17 or something like that with 9 minutes left in the game. But they get a pass, right? They get a pass because they throw the ball all the time, and they leave the quarterback in, C.J. Stroud, until the fourth quarter when they're up by 40 points, which is despicable because they've got great backup quarterbacks. They've got Kyle McCord. They've got Devin Brown, a true freshman, that are going to want to compete and be part of this team next year with C.J. Stroud is gone. And they're not giving those guys any time because they're just trying to get style points, right? Ryan Day knows he's going to lose in 11 days from now to Michigan, and he's just trying to get in the college football playoff as a one-loss non-conference champion, trying to boost C.J. Stroud's Heisman Trophy stock by throwing the ball in the end zone, nonstop with 3 minutes left in the game, up by 40, 50 points. It's just despicable, and I'm calling this. Not Ryan Day anymore. It's Ryan De Sanctimonious. Trump said Ron De Sanctimonious, Ryan De Sanctimonious. I'm not trying to be, I'm just trying to steal the vibe of the world. Ryan De Sanctimonious, the guy only cares about himself and trying to pump those stats up, make him look like some sort of passing guru. All right, as we wait, we've got a few minutes left here in this Michigan State-Kentucky game before we are allowed to announce the College Football Playoff Top 25. So here's what we're going to do. Last week we had a really nice, we've never done Super Chats before. We do that a lot on shows here at Chat Sports, never on this one. Nevertheless, every $100 we will prank call an OSU fan. So I've got some great OSU fans on tap. I got former Ohio State coach, got Ohio State season ticket holder. I've got my nephew, right, about to be kicked out of the family. I got my good buddy from high school. I'm sorry, my good buddy from college. So we got a nice assortment. I'm going to FaceTime them. If they pick up, I am just going to talk shit to them and hang up. So anybody who super chats, you're going towards that $100. We get $200. That's $2. $300. That's $3. We had $101 in super chats last week, so we will do at least one Ohio State football prank if we get that. $5 is a wheel spin. So, Jack, toss up the wheel spin. So this is producer Jack Lauderay. We call him Young Harbaugh. If you can see that on screen. I don't know if you got to take it full screen or not, Jack, if you can read them off to the people or want me to read them off to the people if you want to jump on the mic. So $5, we will do a wheel spin. It's kind of like stupid human tricks here on the Michigan Football Report. Producer Jack, Young Harbaugh, read them off what the different ones are there for the people.
All right. So 5 squats, 5 push-ups, shot a fireball. You have to prank call a Michigan State lawyer, I believe is what that says.
So let me say this. So if you guys saw, I got the Fireball here, full bottle. We'll take some shots if we hit that one. Michigan State, they've got this lawyer like David Diamond. He put out that ridiculous letter about the tunnel and he was going to sue and all this different stuff. He put his phone number to his office on the letter that he publicly listed. It's different than what's on his website. So this is obviously his private office number. We will prank him live on the show. Hopefully he picks up. It's only 5:56 Eastern or Pacific time in California where he's at. So we will prank Michigan State lawyer David Diamond live here on the show. Go ahead, Jack.
Drink half a beer. Tell a dad joke. Wear a wig for 5 minutes.
I got a wig here. Let's toss this one up here. I'll wear this wig. Kind of look like Queen Ewer's slow cousin or something like that. All right, cool.
And then sing Hail to the Victors.
Sing Hail to the Victors. So we got eight different options. So it was do 5 squats. It was do 5 push-ups. It was prank call an MSU, the Michigan State lawyer, wear a wig, tell a dad joke, sing Hail to the Victors. What am I missing? Shot of Fireball. We got the bottle of Fireball, and then somebody gave me a Truly before the show. I got half this left. I'm not sure if that counts, but we also have this bucket here. I'm going to pull this bad boy up. Bucket, which Brutus is sitting on, but it's got some beers in there as well. So this is Brutus the Buckeye. Let's kind of talk about this with the rest of the Super Chat menu. Okay, so we've still got 353, so you're not missing anything. You guys are just getting me entertaining you as best I can right now. I'll put this Fireball down so it's not looking ridiculous here, but I will grab this bad boy to talk about the rest of the show. So if you send a $10 Super Chat in, Jack will take me full screen, and I will take Brutus, who's going to sit here next to me, and I'll punch him in the face. Okay, you got one for free. I might even just take him and kick him on the ground. I might step him. It's going to be a fun time, but he's going to sit there to remind you guys that he is there, and this is, probably the biggest Michigan-Ohio State game of our lifetimes. I know 2016. I know 2006. I know some of the games in the 90s, certainly the 70s, etc. This is the biggest game, I think, for me in this life because Michigan is coming off a win last year. Didn't play in 2020. This could set the precedent for the future of this program, this rivalry. All right, doing something new as well. Michigan Football Report hard hat. Jack, if I'm coming through bad, I'm going to take my headset off, but I'll kind of keep this bad boy here. Am I coming through okay? All right, hard hat. Okay, we're a workman-like show. We work hard for you guys. So I have this hard hat. I got a Michigan. Can you see this one here, Jack, right here? Got one over here. Got another Michigan sticker there. So what we're going to do, if you Super Chat $20, you will get, I've got one, my son Preston, he's 6 years old. He donated $20. I've got, if you can see it there, I'm going to put it up to the screen. Whoop, there we go. So Preston Yoder, today's day. So if you Super Chat $20, you will get a helmet sticker, just like the players, right? I'll write your name right here live on the show, or if I can find my marker, I put it somewhere. But nevertheless, we'll get the marker, and you will be officially, once we fill this bad boy up over the next couple months doing live shows, once it's completely full, I'll give shout-outs every single live show to the Hard Hat Super Hard Hat Hall of Fame. And then I'll send it to somebody. All right? I'll mail this to somebody. You can keep it once we get 30 or 40 of you guys send it $20 in. So that's the hard hat. Michigan Football Report hard hat. Donate $20. You will have a spot, your name, and the date you did it, and you'll get a shout out going forward on every single live show. And last but not least, the Super Chat MVP. Whoever Super Chats the most wins the MVP. I'll do whatever you want if you're the bigger Super Chat. And Jack Young Harbaugh will put you at the bottom of the screen as the Super Chat MVP. Do we have the Super Chat MVP from last time? Do we get that one or not? It's no big deal if not. No worries, we'll do that. So let's keep it rolling, Jack. Let's go to the question. So go ahead and Super Chat, get you on the screen. Any Super Chat, $1 or more, will get you to answer my question. So keep it going there. All right.
All right, so we have two wheel spins. Mm-hmm. We'll hit the other Super Chats in a second, but I'll do both wheel spins right now. And then you also have to hit Brutus as well because we got a $10 as well.
Okay, let's do 2 wheel spins. Cord is kind of riding up my back here. What's that one?
You have to sing Hail to the Victors.
Hail to the victors, valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best. Dun, dun, dun. Hail to the victors, valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Go Blue! Let's go. All right, let's ride, Jack. We got 3 minutes, 8 seconds left in this game. Michigan State down by 2 to Kentucky. And then we'll get these bad boy rolling. What's that one?
5 squats.
5 squats, okay. You're going to put me full screen, Jack. Show the people the squats are done. All right, let's ride. Oh, my gosh, look at this guy. We're going to punch him. Right? Just leave me full screen. We got one of those coming up. Okay. 1. Oh, yes, I'm too close to the wall. 1, 2, 3, Feel the burn. 4, 5. But I'm not doing that because it's Ohio State next week. I'm going to go 10, Jack, because I want to put in the work. I want to be ready for game day. What's that, 8, 9, 10? Oh, yeah, that's back straight. And then, boom, beat him. Okay. Okay, there we go. Jack, we got it going. Got it rolling. Keep it rolling. All right, you want to show the Super Chat? So I'd rather beat Ohio State than make the playoffs. No doubt about it. If there was an option, okay. We don't have time. We're not going to have time to put this on screen, but I'll ask you guys, just listen to me for a second. Option 1. So if you want option 1, type in 1. If you want option 2, type in 2. I want to see what you guys are thinking in the live chat. Option 1 is this. You lose to Illinois this weekend, but you beat Ohio State. You don't make the college football playoff, but you go to the Rose Bowl. Okay. Option 1, you lose this weekend, you upset Illinois, beat Ohio State, but you miss in the college football playoff because of the bad loss to Illinois. Or, number 2 is you lose to Ohio State, you go to the college football playoff as the number 4 seed because losses happen elsewhere. Give me a 1 or a 2, 1 or a 2, 1. You lose to Illinois, you beat Ohio State, don't make the CFP. Number 2, you beat Ohio State, or I'm sorry, you beat Illinois, you lose to Ohio State, but you still make the college football playoff. Hell, how about this? Let's make it a little more fun for number 2. You make the college football playoff, the number 4 seed, and you win. You go to the national title game. You play for all the marbles. Not going to say who's going to win that one. So 1 or 2. It's pretty much all ones. I got a number 2 coming in from Barra. I got number 2 coming in from Joe Man JBM, but mostly ones, right? But what if there's a rematch with Ohio State in the playoff by Mark? A pretty damn good question. I actually had a dream a couple nights ago that Michigan beat Ohio State. They got TCU in the first round, number 2 versus number 3, and then Ohio State was the number 4 seed, and they beat Georgia, and there was an Ohio State-Michigan rematch in the national title game. That'd actually kind of be my worst nightmare if Michigan had to play Ohio State. They beat them and had to play them again in the national title game because you win and you beat them twice. Okay, that's a great national title, but I feel the downside of Ohio State, you beat them in the regular season, but they get a chance against you, beat you, win the national title. That would hurt probably more than the win would that happen. So thank you so much for Hexy Ace on the question. Justin Courtney, my guy, go blue, $5. Did we do the squats for him? Was that the one? Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the support and everything that you've done for the show. Win Wang, my Bosa brother. He says Yoder. He says, get Yoder skunked, then do squats. Is that like kind of drinking? Is that what skunked means? Drunk? Okay. I'm not a big Truly guy, but someone gave that to me as we were coming in to drink, so I'm just going to chug this one. You got trash there, Jack, back there? Yeah, somewhere. Just take it off. Okay, who's the Super Chat MVP? As we were waiting, we got 3 minutes. Wolverine, Alaska, our Super Chat MVP. Does that get him on the that gets him in the hard hat, too. So we're going to do that. He is the MVP of the show. If you can beat 20 bones, Carl Corler coming in with a $5. Carl, thank you so much. We'll get to yours in a second. That's a wheel spin for him. So Wolverine, Alaska. We are getting him up there. Do we know what happened to my marker, Jack? I think, oh, there it is. It's, hey, first world problems. Your marker is hidden behind your wig. All right, so Wolverine, Alaska. You are getting front spot right up near the beginning of the helmet. So I'm going to add him right there. $11.15. So I'll put this on for a little bit since we got ourselves a new Super Chat hard hat winner. All right, Wolverine, Alaska. You hear me okay, Jack? I got the headset on a little bit off my neck. Thank you so much, Wolverine. So just wanted to say thanks to the great content. Is there any truth that JJ's shoulder is injured? I saw that out there on Twitter and the blog boards a little bit yesterday. I can't imagine it is true because I didn't see anything happen in the game versus Nebraska. But I usually get my injury reports on Wednesday night, Thursday morning as Michigan ends the week of practice. Things are a little tight-lipped. If you trust what we put out there, we've told you about G-Mon Green and starting offensive lineman and all kinds of things over Eric All. We're the first ones to publicly report that. So I haven't wanted to speculate on Donovan Edwards or Mike Morris until I know, because I just don't want to get it wrong. So I should hear something tomorrow night. If we do, we'll put it out there. JJ, it's a mystery. Michigan's going to remain extremely tight-lipped, and hell, if he's injured, they still might play him to not throw Ohio State off the off the trail there, and might just play him for half, hopefully get a 10-point lead or so, and then put in Davis Warren, make it seem like it's more or less resting the starters for the second half going to Ohio State. Maybe don't throw that much, but haven't heard anything. But remember, he missed spring practice with a shoulder injury. He opted not to have surgery, and he has been battling through that basically for the last year. I mean, this happened right around the Georgia game or so last year. So this has been going on for 10 and a half months. Haven't heard it yet, but trust the second I do, I'll know what happens in practice on Wednesday into Thursday. And at latest, we'll tell you about what's going on with J.J. McCarthy, Donovan Edwards, Mike Morris on Friday morning to mid-morning afternoon. So thanks so much, Wolverine Alaska. Super Chat MVP. And over this side, he has got a spot for us on the Michigan football hard hat. $5 coming from Carl Cordell. He's getting a wheel spin. Carl, my guy. Appreciate everything there. Griff Randall, say my name. Griff Randall, you the guy. What, shot a fireball? Oh, man. Okay. Jack, I don't really like, I gotta do, gosh, I gotta wake up my son in the morning and all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't know if I can get, oh, geez. Jack, can you give me damn it, can you go grab me a paper towel? I spilled it everywhere. Shots to you, Carl. Appreciate it. Yep. Go ahead. Yeah, thank you. Jack's going to go. I didn't realize how fast these fireballs went. I spilled it, so that is that. I'm going to take off the hard hat for a few moments. Hopefully we'll bring it back here in a second. Shane Johnson, my guy, my Miami. Shane, actually, funny enough, I will be in, as I take the hard hat off, got to fix our cords here. Shane, I will be in Miami with a friend, a good friend of mine, having his first kid. So we are doing kind of a dadschler party. He's having his first kid in January. So we're having a dadschler party in Miami on December 9th through the 11th. It's the weekend after the Big Ten championship game. So if you want, what is Justin Courtney saying? That's my drink for the game. Little Justin Courtney is a fireball guy. If you're still in Miami, Shane, and you want to hang, you want to get nuts, we are going to be staying. It's either downtown Miami or South Beach. We're trying to decide between hotels right now, but get in there morning of Friday the 9th and leaving mid to late morning, kind of like noon, 11 o'clock noon on Sunday the 11th of December. So he says, King, Jack, before you worked here, you used to call me the king of Michigan football media. I think that's what he's talking about here. Let's put, what does that say? On M, what does it say? And head to the shoe. On M. Oh, and M overalls. The way that YouTube shows it's a little broken, but let's put on M overalls and head to the shoe. You know why he's talking about overalls? It's because we're workmanlike, okay? This is I guess this is the toughest team in America. I've been really enjoying lately watching Jim Harbaugh's offensive play calls from the running game. Now, I think it's come at the expense of the passing game. It's definitely come at the expense of J.J. McCarthy's stats. Once we check, if we get a chance, we have the J.J. McCarthy versus Cade McNamara as we've got 35 seconds left in the game. I was really surprised. If you guys didn't see our show from Monday, I think it was Monday or maybe it was this morning's show, take a look at these stats. Through 10 games, 9 starts for J.J., 10 for Cade McNamara. These are J.J.'s stats from last year compared to Cade's from this year. Okay, so JJ has less yards. Okay, one less start, but I don't think that's that big of a deal because if you guys remember last year, the first 4 games of the year, Cade McNamara averaged like 13 passes a game. It was like 12 passes, 17 passes, 11 passes, 19 passes in those first 4 games when we tagged it the ground rate offense. Michigan was running for 300 yards every single game, so Cade McNamara didn't get the benefit of necessarily 10 starts, but JJ's got less yards. He has less attempts. He has right around the same amount of completions. 2 more touchdowns, and though Michigan, I think it's a testament to his running game, his running ability. J.J. McCarthy's Michigan offense, without Hassan Haskins, without a couple starting offensive linemen, without Eric All, who's missed most of the season, they are averaging 7 points more per game than Cade McNamara's Big Ten champion Michigan football team did last year. So, we got some chat, some fire in the chat. Patrick Brewer says Charles needs help spelling 4-letter word loser. Oh man, got some wild stuff going on there in the chat. So, thanks so much, Shane. DM me, hit me on the Twitter game if you are in Miami and you want to hang out. He'll be in town on December 9th. All right, Cool Moti, my guy. We're putting him on the hard hat, and he's tied for Super Chat MVP. We're tied, so we'll put him there. So Cool Moti, thank you so much. I'm going to put you on the hard hat. He says, start, bench, cut, Heisman, Hassan Haskins, Blake Corum, Mike Hart. Oh, my gosh. This is going this is going to go. We're going to put this, save that one. We'll put in the mailbag cut later that we'll put out on the channel on Thursday or Friday. I'm going to put just a couple stickers on there, and so we'll be ready. Listen, I'm putting Carl Kumoti right up front. That's a great question. So let me know, you guys. So he's saying start, bench, or cut between maybe Michigan's three best running backs of the past 15, 17, 18 years, right? I would say Chris Perry, 2003. If you don't count him, going forward, 2004 till now, 18, 19 seasons, these are your best three running backs. As let me get his name. Cool Moti. Okay, cool. Moete. 11, 15. I might have to rewrite that one after the show, and I'm not trying to do that. Cool Moti, you are on the hard hats. There you go, my guy. And I put this one on over my headset, not to take it off because it takes too much work to go tuck it back in. This is a good question. I'm going to say for now, I'm going to, and this pains me to say, I would start Mike Hart. Okay. More of it because of a body of work, and I do think his 2006 and 2004 seasons were at least equal to Blake Corum's season this year, although he wasn't as much in Heisman Trophy consideration as Blake is this year. Didn't have the breakaway speed like Blake Corum does, so that I would bench, he'd be my backup, Blake Corum, and unfortunately I would cut Hassan Haskins. But I do think over the last 15 years, maybe since the Chad Henne and Mike Hart group left, that going forward, I would say Denard Robinson, and then probably maybe Devin Bush and Hassan Haskins. Those are like the three guys that are the heart and soul of this Michigan football program. I might be missing a guy or two, and I apologize if I have. But Hassan Haskins, I love Hassan Haskins. I think is what he did for this program last year. Him and Cade McNamara, Chase Winovich, Aiden Hutchinson, David Ajabo, Dax Hill. I'll never forget it. Last year on the 27th of November, one of the great days of my life. Right, getting married, having a child. That game last year, right? Those are maybe the three best of my entire life. So it pains me to say Hassan Haskins would get the bench, but it's only because he was a true starter for 1 year. With those 5 touchdowns against Michigan, something as a starter Mike Hart never did, and as a starter Blake Corum has yet to do, but will do in 11 days. That's kind of where we're at. Bosa go blue, a now an MVP level guy. Cool Moti is on the hard hat. Appreciate it. So speaking of Ohio State, talking about them, let's type in beat Ohio State again, Bosa, as we are just under 15 seconds until this game is over. So I'm gonna give you guys the play-by-play here. Kentucky is at the line. Shooting 2, they just missed their first free throw. They're up 61-60, 15.4 seconds left. Michigan State already with a loss in the year. They lost last week to Gonzaga, go against number 4 Kentucky. I'm sure you guys aren't watching this one necessarily, but I'll give you guys the play-by-play here as it comes down. Kentucky shooting the free throw. They make it. They're up 2. Now Michigan State's going to inbound the ball. 62-60. Kentucky leads. I don't know the Michigan State players off the top of my head by number, so they cross the midcourt and they call timeout. 11 seconds left. Kentucky up 62-60. Michigan State calls timeout. They will inbound the ball with 11 seconds left. Don coming in. He says, chances Harbaugh or Hart interview for Colts head coaching job. Hart's not going to, and crazy things have happened, right? This is a program, a team that just brought an NFL commentator. What was Jeff Saturday doing before here? It was a ESPN commentator to be their head coach. Now, they beat the Raiders, right? I don't know if that's not saying much for Jack. It says, I was about to say the same exact thing. So Mike Hart's not going to go from a run game coordinator, running backs coach at Michigan to an NFL head coach. He played there, of course, so there's a little bit of there. But I want to just warn you guys, and don't hit me with the Yoder said that I've been victim to in the past. Yoder said you were going to the Colts. Jim Harbaugh, I don't know why. He actively pursued NFL jobs last year. I think it was a dumb move by him, and I think it probably is hurting the recruiting class that this program has going on right now. You lost your recruiting coordinator. A lot of things happened there. But the Colts, the Bears, the Raiders, and who's the other team? The Colts, Bears, Raiders. I'm missing one that he's got some sort of history with, right? He played for the Colts, took him to the AFC title game, drafted by the Bears, first round, was there for 7-8 seasons. And then the Raiders, it was actually people like, why the Raiders? They gave him his first chance as a coach. A few people realize this. 20 years ago, the Raiders went to the Super Bowl, had the NFL MVP and Rich Gann, Who was the quarterbacks coach but one Jim Harbaugh? He left after that season to go be the head coach at University of San Diego, USD. I feel like every time I put this helmet on, my collar keeps messing up, Jack. You got to get word open here. Michigan State scored. I didn't see what happened because I was talking to you guys. So it's a tie ball game, 3.7 seconds. Would you say inbound and dunk? Inbound and dunk. So I would say the chances Harbaugh interviews or at least has some backdoor overtures, I would say is like 50%, right? 50%. Would he take it? I don't know. Like, they don't have a very good situation. The Vikings, we're seeing what it was interesting to him about that job, right? They're what, 8-1 now, right? Is that the record? They're one of the 2 or 3 top favorites in the entire NFL for the Super Bowl, or at least the NFC at this point. So I didn't think they had that talented of a roster personally, but they certainly have great wide receivers. Kirk Cousins coming into his own in this new offense they've got going on. So I see the intrigue with that. I don't know if I see it with Indianapolis. They've got a terrible quarterback situation they've had for a number of years. And do they have enough talent to be like the 49ers did or like the Vikings did to just kind of go from 500 team or worse and go to playoff team in 1 year? That's what Harbaugh will be looking for. So I would say he'd listen because of the history, but I don't think it's a job he would take. All right, guys, I want to tell you guys I appreciate every one of you who have subscribed to the channel. I'm guessing everybody who's watching right now, most people have subscribed already. If you haven't, though, youtube.com/Michigan TV is the place to do it. Just click on that link right below. I didn't put it in the live chat, Jack, so my bad on that. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Just click that button right below the video that says subscribe, or anytime go to youtube.com/Michigan TV. Reminder in the future, make sure you come back and subscribe if you don't today, but just hit that button and go ahead and subscribe. The Bosa's are coming in heavy on the live chat, so I really appreciate it. I want to get to the rankings as soon as we can, but remember, we have more going up. We are going to do today's news and rumors, have a lot to talk about around this program. We're probably going to do it unless this game goes to overtime, which it might. Really quick, Kentucky didn't get it off in time. They missed it, so they're going to go overtime. Why don't we do this, Jack? Why don't we go to the news and rumor stuff? We're not going to make you guys wait any longer with real content because we've been on live here for almost about 30 minutes at this point. So we will dive into the latest Michigan football news and rumors, today's top stories as Michigan State, Kentucky goes into overtime, tied at 62. Then we'll get into the top 25. As soon as it's going, even if we're in the middle of our cut, we will jump out of that, go to the top 25 rankings as soon as they knock on the door and let us know. And we will go to our live Q&A. I will take about 20 to 30 minutes of your questions as soon as we get done with the top 25 college football playoff rankings. So make sure use that hashtag Michigan or Super Chat once we get to the Q&A. Hashtag Michigan puts it at Young Harbaugh, a.k.a. Producer Jack's top of his feed, and he will push you right on screen if you use hashtag Michigan. We have Yoder for OT from Anthony. I want to read one thing. I see somebody said, Charles Anthony, welcome to the show, Charles Anthony. He said Stroud is terrible. Corum for Heisman, and he says he's an Ohio State fan, so I guess I really appreciate that, Charles. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Maybe we can convince you to come over to the Michigan Football Report. All right, we're going to dive into today's top stories around this program as we wait for the college football playoff top 25 to be revealed. Let's get it rolling. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. All that coming up right now. I am your host, James Yoder. You are watching the Michigan Football Report here, and we are going to dive into a bunch of news and rumors around this program. Michigan is taking on Illinois coming up on Saturday. It is noon at the Big House, senior day for Michigan seniors. And one of them, which was maybe surprising to some, not surprising to others. We got one fifth-year player who's opting not to take his 6th year at Michigan. We'll talk about that here in a second. But to start the show, I don't know what you guys are thinking about this game. Go ahead and predict the score. Michigan versus Illinois. Want to keep your hear what you guys are thinking. Had that guy in there, Charles. He's saying, oh man, he says Blake. He says loves Michigan. Ryan DeSanctimonious, and he says Blake Corum better than Travion Henderson. Thank you so much, Charles Anthony, for joining the show. Ohio State fan said he's ready to convert to Michigan because Ohio State is too soft. But let me know. Go down and predict the score in the comments in the Michigan Football Report YouTube live chat. What did I say, Jack? Did I give you my score prediction? Do you remember? Because I already forgot. I'm going to just create another one. I'm going to say 34-13. Michigan wins this one. Go ahead and predict your scores down in the comment. I got a 38-10 from TU, Keyshawn, and a bunch of others. Let's keep it rolling here in the Michigan Football Report. Predict the score, Michigan versus Illinois. Ronnie Bell will be playing his last game at Michigan Stadium coming up on Saturday. The fifth-year senior, who was supposed to be a senior last year in 2021, got injured towards ACL in the opening game. Jim Harbaugh said late yesterday, but we didn't get to it in yesterday's show, that he will forego his 2023 eligibility. Has the COVID year of eligibility left. So any fifth-year player who has redshirted or missed a year like Ronnie Bell did in 2021, where they played less than 4 games or less, they can come back for a 6th year under the COVID rules of the 2020 season, have an extra year of eligibility. Ronnie Bell, though, will not exercise that. He will head to the NFL draft, 2023 NFL draft, and this will be his last game in Michigan Stadium, his last game beating Ohio State, his last Big Ten championship coming up in about 2.5 weeks, and then his second of 2 college football playoffs. He will not be part of the team next season. But what a career for this guy. A hell of a career for Ronnie Bell. 2022 stats so far, 45 catches, 597 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think as you look down this list, that's always been the struggle for him. Getting in the end zone, right? I do think he did have a touchdown in that first game. Maybe I'm crazy, in 2021. Jack, if you get a chance, look that up for me. Did Ronnie Bell have a touchdown in 2021 in that first game? I know he had a catch or 2. I did think it was like a 76-yard touchdown, if I recall correctly. So he had one more touchdown there. So that brings his career total of touchdowns to 7 from the 6 you see on screen. We didn't put up the 2021 stats. 26 catches in 20 in the shortened year with bad quarterback play. 48 in 2019. Remember, this is a team, Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's a starter in the NFL. Nico Collins scored a touchdown in the NFL against the Giants, right? He plays for the Texans this past Sunday. Ronnie Bell was the leading receiver on that team, 48 catches, 758 yards, only 1 touchdown. It's always been a struggle. And even as a true freshman in 2018, what do you have there? 8 catches, is that what it says, Jack? 145 and 2 touchdowns. Hell of a career for Ronnie Bell. We wish him the best in the NFL, and let's make these last 5 games count. Illinois, Ohio State, the Big Ten Championship, the semifinal, and then the national championship game coming up that Jack and I will be at in L.A. All right, Harbaugh's guy, and if you guys are watching this later, I'm going to take this down for a second, but in the live stream, we were punching him in the face for every super chat of $20 or more, so I'm not going to make you guys see this. An Ohio State fan sent this to me. Okay. Harbaugh's guy departs. Biff Poggi, who's been Harbaugh's chief of staff in 2 different stints. He was back there in 2016. Was one of the great college football coaches in the entire country, or high school football coaches in the entire country. He's had two different college high school football programs in the Baltimore area that he has kind of built into powerhouses, left, came back, etc. And guys like Yabioki, right? They played at the high school that he was the coach at. Blake Corum was his player in high school. He's not been there for a couple seasons, but they've got one of the best quarterbacks in the 2024 class should Jaden Davis not commit to Michigan in the next 10 days or so as expected. So Biff Poggi, congrats to him. He is the new head coach at UNC Charlotte. I think from a recruiting standpoint and a management standpoint, Jim Harbaugh reminds me a lot of a guy like not Jeff Bezos, like Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg. They don't have the interpersonal skills to necessarily like kind of motivate people, do all that stuff. But if they've got a guy that can kind of like take the message and like communicate it well, that's Biff for Jim Harbaugh, his right-hand man, his chief of staff. And he's wanting to get back and have an opportunity to be a head coach, so we wish him well. If it doesn't work out in Charlotte, though, Biff, you go. They've had some tough run with their head coaches. Come back to Michigan in a few years if you get fired or anything like that. But we hope it doesn't happen. If it does, hopefully you have a spot here at Michigan football going forward. All right, my game day shirt, the Michigan Football Jordan brand shirt, it's $10 off, folks, right now. $10 off, chatsports.com/Michigan T. Jack, we able to toss those bad boys, those links in the live chat. Jack's going to toss those a few times in the live chat or down in the comments and descriptions of today's video. We will put them there. Chatsports.com/Michigan TV. It's $10 off, only $40. The Michigan Football Jordan brand official 2022 t-shirt. Chatsports.com/Michigan TV. Or this bad boy is finally back in stock. Now, it's not cheap. It's $75, but I just ordered this. This thing's amazing. It's the Michigan football mascot, the Wolverine Nike hoodie, $75, but chatsports.com/Mich mascot. You can get that bad boy. It's back in stock. It's been out of stock for 2 or 3 weeks. And then we have one more shirt I just came across. Great stocking stuffer. It's got the Michigan Maize logo with the state of Michigan and the UP, the Upper Peninsula outline. It's a really cool shirt. It's only $21.99. Chatsports.com/Mich outline. That is down in the comments, description of today's video, and in the live chat. If you guys are looking for gifts this holiday season or want to send a link to somebody to buy for you, send these links. Support the show, support our sponsors, chatsports.com/Mich outline, Michigan Tea, and Mich hoodie, right? Yeah, Mich hoodie. Mish Mascot. Yeah, that's right, Mish Mascot. So those are in the live chat and in the comments. Michigan's taking on Illinois. Right, I'm not thinking about it too much. I feel like they've lost a luster, right? Michigan, Illinois, that game is coming up on Saturday, senior day for Michigan. The Wolverines are 18-point favorites. The over-under is 42 points. So the defenses here are great, right? These are two of the top 5 defenses scoring yards in all of college football. Their starting running back is maybe as an injury. We haven't really been able to speculate more on it since Brett Bielema's press conference yesterday. But Michigan is definitely favored here, and just I've been gambling for 20-plus years now. I've been gambling way back since I had no money to gamble. When you see a spread like this, over under 42, Michigan favored by 18, at these they think that's kind of right around where Jack and I were saying. They think the score is going to be somewhere around 31-10 or 34-13 or 28-14, something like that. It's going to be in that range of like 14 to 20, 21 points that they think Michigan's going to win. They don't think Illinois can score that much, and they don't think Michigan is able to run the score up on Illinois. So it's going to be a tighter game than I think a lot of people expect, given that this program has lost their last 2 straight, has Illinois to Purdue and to Michigan State. Could have been a really great matchup. Could have been a top 10 matchup had they held serve, but it turns out that they weren't as good as we thought they were just a couple weeks ago. Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh is 35-1 as head coach of the Wolverines when they rush over 100 yards. And with the top rushing, they're not the top statistically rushing program, but they are the best running team in America, in my opinion, for efficiency and the ability to just run on whoever they want, whenever they want. We saw it last year versus Ohio State. We saw it last year versus Penn State. We saw it this year versus Penn State, Michigan State, etc. So think forward to Ohio State game, right? Run for 100 yards, we had a good chance of winning. What did we see last year? Michigan went into halftime up 14-13. I felt really good about where they were. I felt they dominated that first half, but still only up by 1 point. So you were a little nervous, although my halftime video, I went back and watched it this week. I was very confident at halftime. I go back to my Twitter account on November 27th. And Michigan came out, scored 4 touchdowns in the second half, and I think absolutely obliterated Ohio State. They only scored 2 touchdowns in that second half game last year, and it was all due to the offensive line, which I think is getting better this year. The running game, which I think is better this year, although without Hassan Haskins, you don't have the 1-2 punch like you did last year. But what they're doing with J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, everything they've got going on, I think they've poised for a 100-yard running game. This is a great stat. Some new college football playoff odds are out as we await the rankings, top 25. If you're watching this Wednesday morning, you will know the top 25 rankings. But look at these stats here. This means that Georgia is 200 times likely to make the college football playoff than not. I'm not even joking there. You got to put up $20,000 to win 100. That's not a joke, which basically means with one game this week against one AA. Jack, look up the schedule for me, Georgia. They got Georgia Tech next week, then the SEC title game. Basically what they're saying is there's 0 chance that they lose one of the next 2 games. And even if they lose, they play Kentucky and then who else? They got Georgia, so Kentucky, then Georgia Tech. They're basically saying there's no chance they lose 2 of their last 3, and even if they do, Kentucky, Georgia Tech, and then they'll face LSU in the Big Ten title game. According to the college football playoff, which I guess is fair because they've been number 1 or 2 all year, as long as they don't lose 2 of those 3, which is very unlikely, they will make the college football playoffs. It's almost like I've never seen odds like that in my life. Now, Ohio State, -700. What this communicates is even if they lose to Michigan, they won't potentially drop past number 4. They'll be right there battling with Tennessee, who actually has better odds. I'm sorry, less odds. I apologize. -500. Michigan basically even money, -110. You got to put up $110. So in theory, what this spells out is Michigan or Ohio State with a loss to the other one will have better odds than a USC team, even that wins the Pac-12 and doesn't lose another game. A 1-loss conference champion USC, a 1-loss conference champion Clemson. So pretty good to see because in that theory, that scenario, Michigan could only lose, and then all they have to do is hope TCU loses one of their last 3 games. They're playing Baylor, and then they've got Kansas State in the Big Ten 12 title game most likely. And I don't know who their game is prior to that. Maybe Jack can tell us at one point what TCU has. They've got Baylor coming up, and then one more game after that. So will Michigan make the college football playoff? Give me a yes in the comments or no. We're filming this on our live show, so I'll give a few. Baylor and then Iowa State. Yeah, I did look at that earlier. So will Michigan make the college football playoff? Michael Jackson, he's back. He's saying no. Out the mud saying you drunk. I'm not sure we're talking about that. I'm not drunk yet. I've only had 1 drink. Keyshawn to you. Keyshawn says yes. Charles Anthony says yes. Michigan will crush Ohio State. Thank you so much. Bob Jones says yes. ABC Del Football says yes. So a lot of yeses. Michigan fans certainly feeling the love for this team? I'm saying yes. I even think if they were to lose to Ohio State, which won't happen, but if they did for some reason, I do think they will make the college football playoff. I think TCU will lose a game, and it'll be Georgia, the Michigan Ohio State winner, Tennessee, the Michigan Ohio State loser, a Big Ten SEC combo pack 2-2. Let me know what you guys are thinking, though, down in the comments. How about Jesse Minter, Michigan's first-year defensive coordinator? Who would have thought? First-year defensive coordinator last year, Mike McDonald, puts together Michigan's best defense in years, incompetent defense, right? We were confused by those Don Brown defenses. Jesse Minter has put together a great defense this year. Mike McDonald last year, back-to-back, one of the best defense in the country. I think Michigan does have it this year. Last year, top 5. He is now a finalist for the Broyles Award, which Josh Gass won last year, top assistant in all of college football. Semifinals will be announced 1 week from today. So next week's Tuesday night show, we will have our semifinals award. I'm guessing he will be there, given he's got the number 1 defense in college football. And then a week after that, the Tuesday after the Michigan-Ohio State game, leading in to the Big Ten championship game, you will have your 3 finalists for that award. I think he's going to win it. I think Michigan can win back-to-back Broyles Award. I don't think it's ever happened in the history of college football in the 25, 30 years this award's been given out, so that'd be pretty cool. But he is a nominee and likely will be a semifinalist, and then I think a finalist there on November 29th. Which Michigan football team did have a better defense? Thinking back to Mike McDonald's 2021 defense with Aiden Hutchinson and David Ajabo, and the linebacker whose name I'm forgetting at the moment is in the NFL. And for the Ravens, actually, David Ajabo, Daxton Hill, Chris Hinton, Vincent Gray. I mean, you've got a lot of players that are off this team that were high contributing players last year in defense. 3 starters on the defensive line, a starting linebacker, 3 guys from the secondary. Brad Hawkins, I haven't even mentioned yet. The fact that you were able to replace 7 starters off last year's defense and still be this effective, I'm going to go with 2022 because the stats they're putting up. But I will hold back my final verdict until Michigan plays Ohio State. You get that win, it's a no-brainer for Michigan. One more request quickly. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. 23,010 of you have. If you haven't yet, it's youtube.com/MichiganTV. We are the most watched Michigan football program in all of the universe. And make sure you guys join it, youtube.com/MichiganTV. Be part of the biggest community in all of college football here on YouTube. Michigan Ohio State coming up. And if you're watching on Wednesday, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. This is filmed on our live show. Michigan State, Kentucky going to double overtime. Michigan State, another dunk with 5 seconds left to send in double overtime. So those live watchers, you got to stick with us a little bit longer. We'll keep it rolling here. Next Saturday, Michigan, Ohio State. The lines are out now. I think this will drop. I think the final line will be Michigan will be a 5-point, 6-point underdog. But right now, a couple of the sports books put out initial lines. 7 points is the line that Ohio State is favored over Michigan. Over-under is 60.5. I think that's low. I do think it's low. I think these teams will score more than that. But these are 2 of the better defenses in all of college football. And hell, these are two of the better offenses in college football. Let's kind of take a look at where we're at, the tail of the tape between these 2 programs after 10 games. Michigan, the only real outlier here is not being a dominant, super dominant, part of the ball, side of the ball, statistically. They are number 24 in total offense in college football at 468 a game. Ohio State, about 40 yards, almost exactly, 41 yards, 41.6 yards ahead of them. Number 6 in college football total offense. Michigan is the number 1 defense in college football, 232 yards a game by like a 15, 16-yard margin over number 2. Ohio State, though, they've had a nice turnaround under Jim Knowles. Number 7 defense in all of college football from a yards perspective. Michigan, number 5 scoring offense. So they're outpacing their yardage with a scoring offense at 41.4, 7 points higher than where they were at this point last year. Number 1 defense in college football for Michigan at 11.2 points per game against scoring. Ohio State's offense, number 2 scoring offense, and then they are the number 7 scoring defense. So nice turnaround for Ohio State this year. Let's take a look at the wide receiver group. I think this is going to be the difference in the game in all of college football, folks. The game of the year, the game of the century, the best game, at least in 16 years, in my opinion, in college football. And people say, oh, Alabama, LSU, this, that. It doesn't matter. This is the game that I think people have to really get excited about. Number 2 and number 3, most likely next week. Marvin Harrison Jr., he has gotten 45% of their catches over the last 3 games. I think it was 45% is the stat I saw. He's picked up the slack for Jackson Smith and Jigba, their superstar wide receiver who's been out. Some rumblings he could return for the Michigan game coming up here in 11 days, 10 days if you're watching this on Wednesday. And Emeka Egbuka, top 10 player overall in the 2021 recruiting class. Those guys are both sophomores. And then junior, also 5-star. Those are 3 5-stars there. Julian Fleming, he's a third-year player. Those guys have really slacked as of late. Marvin Harrison's getting way too many of the looks. I think he's kind of getting worn out. Michigan definitely needs to spy him, maybe double him, but don't let those other guys kind of have breakout games against you. Tight end Cade Stover, 29 catches, third in the team, but lagging in yards there, 366, and he has 5 touchdowns on the year. If you think Michigan is going to beat Ohio State again, like I do, as always, you've got less than 2 weeks. You've got 10 and a half, 11 days here till Michigan, Ohio State. Make this a part of your routine, your life. Everywhere you go, just say, beat Ohio State. You see somebody out there, hey, just say, hey, good to see you. Beat Ohio State. Type it in the comments here on YouTube. Bosa, it's a movement. It's a thing that we do. I'm just going to, if you guys don't know, yeah. Okay. And that's the way we do. I've been all about this since Michigan lost in 2019. Back-to-back, 62 points gave up in 2018, 56 gave up in 2019. I couldn't take it anymore, so beat Ohio State again has become the mantra. My word on this game, Yoder's take, as we like to call it here on the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports, is Michigan needs to hit C.J. Stroud early. So hard that his grandma feels it. Hit him in the face. Take a penalty if you have to. He is a mentally soft player. I don't want to knock the kid. I mean, he's playing great football a lot of times, but I think we saw last year in the Michigan Ohio State game, he had a lot of passing yards, but they were weak yards. They didn't matter when it counted. He needs some, crazy plays, crazy catches from his first-round wide receivers. Hit him so hard like David Ojabo did last year, like Aiden Hutchinson did last year, that every time he catches that ball out of the shotgun snap, he takes one step, and he is just tensing up, waiting to get blindsided, waiting for somebody to hit him right in the face, and he's going to start short-arming passes. That's what Michigan needs to do. I think that's the key to the game. That's all that matters outside of Michigan getting that 100 yards that we talked about a few minutes ago. You hit C.J. Stroud hard early. Knock him on his ass. He is not mentally sound enough, not like he's crazy or anything like that, but tough enough. Mentally tough enough is probably the better word to use, to withstand a Michigan pass rush if he's kind of seeing ghosts out there. So hit him often, but hit him very early and hit him hard, so hard his grandma feels it. I think Michigan will get the win over Ohio State. All right, we're going to put that up, that segment, the Michigan football news, rumors roundup that we just finished there. We're going to put it up on the channel tomorrow. So we'll have it up there around noon or so tomorrow, maybe 1 o'clock Eastern. Michigan State, Kentucky, double overtime. They're just sticking it to it. I think Michigan State's just trying to, they're delaying the games. So that is what it is. So type me. I'll give some shout-outs here on the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. Got some bosses I'm going through. Out the mud saying, Charles, your colors are ugly. So the Go Blue guy, all these guys are saying me here. Out the mud. I'm going to go up at the top here. Jason V. Myers, John Blaze, my guy, the Go Blue guy, Reggie Rogers, Julian Leal, the best one. Mark Shanks says Ohio. Mike G says Yoder, yo. Bella says me, the Go Blue guy again. Phil Betts. Michael Betsworth, Dolphin with a foot, Sprite Cranberry Can, Nick Barbier, Eli Alexander, Demon Stories, Colin Faith, Justin Courtney, where we leave off here. Who is the ultimate Michigan? Patrick Bruce says, Yoder, who is the ultimate Michigan man? My vote goes to Bob Ufer. Honk, honk, honk. Bob Ufer, the great Michigan radio play-by-play guy, former Michigan track star. He'd be up there, right? He'd be on a Mount Rushmore of top 5, 10, 5, I guess 4 for Mount Rushmore. But how can you argue with Jim Harbaugh, right? Because he was an All-American quarterback. He finished number 3 in the Heisman. He beat Ohio State twice. He won multiple Big Ten championships. And then he came back and he's led Michigan to those things as head coach. So I think Jim Harbaugh is the guy. I think he's the ultimate Michigan man. Who's calling the game, Yoder versus Illinois from Andrew? I actually don't know. I actually don't know the answer to that. I apologize at the moment. We need a live watch with Yoder. Dylan, what do we say, Jack? We said if Michigan's up by 10 or more in the second half against Ohio State, we'll go live. Now, that could be to my detriment because I am just not good. Miller1 says, Yoder, check your Twitter inbox, and we'll do that momentarily. John Henderson says, Bosa. Win Wang again with a me. Evan Bosenberger says, me. Jeff Beechler says, hello from Shithole, Ohio. Really sorry, Jeff. You don't deserve that, man. 6624 or Noah says me, out the mud me. Will Henderson be back for OSU? We're going to find out this weekend, but Ohio State rumored to maybe be sitting these guys that have them healthy, right? Mayan Williams, Travion Henderson, have them all healthy for the Michigan game, maybe even Jackson Smith in Jigba. All right, let's take a look at the Super Chat menu. Kentucky is up 1. They have the ball, 76-75 over Michigan State, 2:40, 2:38 left in double overtime. I'm hoping we get an overtime win for Kentucky or double overtime win, and let's get to the college football top 25 rankings. So, have a couple. Oh my gosh, Shane Johnson. Let's hold on to that Shane Johnson. We'll give this guy here. We are coming up on $100 in super chats. We've got what, Jack? $73, right? So $27 more dollars. I'm going to FaceTime an Ohio State fan. We'll have it right on screen next to me right here, okay? And I'm going to FaceTime somebody that you guys have all heard of, probably. It'll be my first choice. So prank call an Ohio State fan on FaceTime once we get to $100. $5 wheel spin, $10. I'm going to hit this Brutus. I'm going to make you guys just cut this on the internet. Where am I at? This way. Okay, $10. And then put him right there. And then hard hat MVPs if you guys are just joining the show as we await. So workman-like show, okay? I'm going to duck down here so you guys can see it. I'll make it a little thing. We've got Cool Moti and Wolverine, Alaska, and Preston Yoder, my son, gave me $20. This hard hat's going to be on every live show the rest of the season into recruiting into February next year. So get on this bad boy. Once we fill this thing up with Michigan football stickers, I am going to pick somebody, an MVP, to sign it and ship it to them. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Shane Johnson says, King, my birthday is the 11th. See you in Miami, Ohio. Let's and go, Shane. Let's go. Let's ride. Let's do this. I'm traveling out on the morning of the 11th, so we won't be able to have a Sunday fun day, unfortunately. But Friday, Saturday night, Friday night. Let me know what the word is. I'll be with one friend, and we're kind of doing it like old guy style. But we're gonna have some fun. Don't you worry. Nothing is off limits when we go to Miami. So hit me up. I'll check my DMs later. We'll make sure we correspond. I think I've got your number from last year as well. So Shane, Miami, we are 3 weeks out. Let's ride. As we wait here, who is the best running back in Michigan football history? Michigan State has scored 4 straight points, it looks like. They're up 78-76 with former Spartan great Steve Smith in the crowd. 1:39 left. They go up by 2 in double overtime with Kentucky. So what happens here? They did a little alley-oop, okay? So back-to-back plays, they score 4 points. Best running back in Michigan football history. Let's just start in modern era, right? So I'll just kind of go back and forward. So you've got guys like John Vaughn and a couple other ones in the late 90s. I'm forgetting all their names, but Tyrone Wheatley, 93, 94. Tim Biakapatuka, 95. Then 97 through 2000, you had Anthony Thomas, the A Train. A couple years, 01, 02, 03, Chris Perry wins the Doak Walker Award. 2004, 2007, Mike Hart is your starting running back. Best running back stats in Michigan football history. You had Fitzgerald, Toussaint, ran for 1,000 in 2011. But Hassan Haskins last year and then Blake Corum this year are the other guys that are right up there for me. So who's the best running back in Michigan football history? I'll go Mike Hart right now, but this is crazy. If you guys can say, "Oh, you're crazy," that's not true. It's not happening. If Blake Corum, even though he has 1 year as a Heisman as a running back, starting running back, if he wins the Heisman, he is the greatest running back in Michigan football history. I don't care what the stats say. I don't care if he's only been a starter for 1 year and he goes pro. If he wins the Heisman, he is the most accomplished and best, and that means he's beat Ohio State back-to-back as well. He is the best running back in Michigan football history. But for right now, I'm going to say Mike Hart. John Blaze, my guy, longtime viewer, one of the OGs, the old schools, the day ones. He gets a wheel spin for the $5. Bring back the stash. I haven't shaved since since Saturday, so I might have to bring it back. Okay, what is it? Right in the middle.
Wear a wig for 5 minutes.
That's right until the. I
also have to mention, John is also wearing a hard hat in his photo.
My guy, John. John just Okay. All right. Let's see. Bring it. Okay. Is this the way? Right way? I'm gonna check this out. Would you put it on? Which way goes in the back, Jack? You're a wig guy, aren't you? Which side goes in the back? The tag. Okay, you're right. Okay. You look like you're a wig guy. You're into movies and stuff. Guys are into movies, they know. Okay. There we go. Look at these flowing locks. Is that Quinn yours, brother, or James Yoder, I don't know. Okay, John,
I can confirm.
Cool. All right, I'm wearing a wig for 5 minutes. Put the when I do a stop, I'll do a stop clock right here, Jack, and we will keep it rolling as we have 1 minute left in this game. So this probably should line up pretty close. I appreciate everyone, by the way, that has stuck with us. I know it's not you're taking up time out of your night. We're waiting for the college football playoff top 25. They're not going to let us announce it until Michigan State, Kentucky gets rolling. As Michigan State, it looks like they're going to win this game. It looks like they're going to upset number team in the 4 team in the country. They are up 80-76. Kentucky's got the ball, top of the key, drives in, kicks out. Michigan State steals it. So now with 52 seconds left, they're up 4. Fast break, layup, but he missed it. And Kentucky hit the ball. I'm rooting for Michigan State to lose, guys. So, John, I'm not going to shave. How about this? Going forward, Jack, I am not going to shave the mustache until the season's over for Michigan, or if they lose a game, which they won't. So we're going to shave on January 10th, okay? January 10th, so almost 2 weeks from now. So no shaving unless Michigan loses the game. So they're not going to lose. That's just what it is. So thanks so much, Jack. He's got it up there. I've got a little bit going. I've got about 4 days or so going here, a little 5 o'clock shadow. Really appreciate it as Michigan State's up 4 with 48.8 seconds left in the game. You look like Chase Winovich, says Nick Barbier. Yeah, I guess I saw it. Blonde hair for dudes, I feel like if it's long, it makes you look like a hillbilly. Short blonde hair is probably fine, like Ken Doll style, but this does make you look like a hillbilly. Like Tom's got blonde hair, and it doesn't look bad. But this is kind of, look at this bad boy. Look at a mullet. Look at that. Okay, cool. World Cup starts on when? It starts next week. I think starts this Sunday, and then the U.S. plays in 6 days. They play on Monday. We're getting this hair everywhere. Ugh. I feel like the cleaning crew is going to be mad at me. This wig is a disaster. It's leaking everywhere. It's spilling everywhere. So what's your favorite sport, or which is a better sport to watch for these two? Hockey or soccer? Well, I know what you guys are thinking. Being Michigan, folks in Michigan. Yeah. Sorry about that. I got some hair in my mouth. Being from Michigan, I expect most people or Michigan fans are going to say hockey. I would say hockey, too. I've never liked soccer at all. I never have in my entire life. So Kenneth says hockey, Dylan hockey, Zachary, Anthony, Zaire, Phil, Michael, Dolphins with a foot. No, the rankings are right here. We're going to release them here in about 36 seconds unless Michigan State gives the ball up here and loses. Boseph from Anthony. Leon says hockey. Storm says soccer. DB says hockey. Baylor is a hockey guy. My guy, Baylor. What's going on, brother? Yoder, check your Twitter inbox. I'm going to check it right now. Okay, he's asked a couple times. I apologize. Keep it rolling. S for soccer, H for hockey. Let me know what you guys are thinking. As 18 seconds left, Michigan State scored again, and now they are up. I don't see Miller. I don't see a DM. Did you send me a DM? Or is it like a notification? No DM. I didn't see a DM. I don't see it. I don't know, Jim. I don't see a DM. Unless you did like the show, which is like Michigan Wolverines by Chat Sports, or that one to Chat Wolverines, but not to this to mine at James Yoder. And I don't see one in the DMs or anything on the other one. So, I haven't seen one, Miller. Appreciate it, but hit me again. I'll have Twitter up if you guys do it again. S or H, soccer or hockey. I'm talking my H's, although I'll watch the World Cup for the U.S. Hopefully they can make far. 18.1 seconds left, double overtime. Kentucky down 6 to Michigan State. Looks like the Spartans will not drop to 1-2 after losing a close one to Gonzaga last week. They will pull this one out in double overtime. As soon as this game's over, 18.1 seconds left, we will reveal the top 25 ranking. Shane coming in says, Hart, 1,562 yards in 06. Blake Corum, go if he hits 2K in the college football semifinals. I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at. It was like Blake Corum's 1 year. It has to be better than every other running back's 1 year. And the gold standard in a lot of ways, Mike Hart's 06 because of the success of that team starting 11-0. Chris Perry, but the award winner, right? Chris Perry in 2003 won the Doak Walker Award. And so he gets the 1 year bump for everybody, but not big enough or good enough, I think, to be the all-time best. Anthony Thomas, maybe the best career. He's not the stats leader anymore because of Mike Hart, but won a national title as a freshman, kind of in and out of starting running back, and then was part of some really good teams in 1999 and maybe some underperforming teams in 98 and in 2000. But if Blake Corum wins the Heisman or gets to 2000 and leads Michigan to a national title game or appearance or a national title in general, then I think he has the opportunity to be the guy. Okay. H. Miller, okay, says the dedication. Okay, so you must have sent the Miller. You sent it a few days ago, so I didn't see it at the top. So let's see. He says, okay, so he's on there. So this is with Alicia. H. Miller, my guy here, appreciate it. He texted Alicia, which I'm guessing is your girlfriend, wife, whatever. He says, I would literally give my left testicle to see Michigan win a national championship. He says, I'm with you. I've had the only kid I'm going to need in life. I'm okay with doing one. And his girl, as my wig timer goes off, that's at the 5 minutes. His girl, Alicia, says she is willing to sacrifice. How about that, Jack? He's got his one kid. His girl says he would let her take the one nut off, or she would let him take the one nut off to have Michigan win a national title. Love it. Love it, Miller. Thank you for sending me that one. I'm going to take this off. Whoa. Oh, crazy hair. Okay, well, we have to kind of go the rest of the show. We have to go the rest of the show here with a little bit of rough hair there. So thank you so much. Good stuff. That's dedication, right? You know, my wife last year, I didn't go to the Michigan-Ohio State game for a few reasons, but let my nephew go with his friends. You know, we had some family, had a lot of cancer in my family the last year. But nevertheless, didn't go. But our producer last year, Jeremy, he's still here. Jeremy, if you're watching, sorry. We literally filmed a post-game show. We raced to the airport. We got on an airport plane like 45 minutes later. We're in Vegas 3 hours after the 3.5 hours of the game, and we just partied till 5 in the morning, got back on a 6 a.m. flight, although it turned out into a 10 a.m. flight because we were delayed for 4 hours. Nevertheless, Jack and I are going to do something this year for sure when Michigan beats Ohio State, and then we're going to be at the national title game on January 9th. Make sure you guys subscribe. 23,027 subscribers are our channel strong. We appreciate everyone who has. 2 seconds left. Michigan State's going to get the win here. They are up by 7 here on the Michigan Football Report. And as soon as this game is over, we will have the top 25 college football playoff rankings. Cool Moti coming in with our 5 spot. He's the official MVP, so let's make an MVP lower third for him. Let's keep it up there for a few minutes until we get the rankings. Cruel Moti, you are the MVP. Jack, make sure you send me that so we give him a shout out on our next shows over the next couple weeks. And we'll give him a shout out at the beginning of the next Q&A as well. Make sure everyone knows who today's MVP is. But if you want to donate $26, somebody else, you can be the MVP. Is it me or is Jesse Minter really quiet? I feel like Don Brown was trying to say more than Harbaugh sometimes. Sure, absolutely. I think that's a good point. I'll say this. I don't know if I could tell you what Jesse Minter's voice sounds like. I know what he looks like. He just doesn't talk to the press much. And when he doesn't do like the full press conference. It's like the little scrums there at Schembeckler Hall with 4 or 5 of the blog boys. So he's definitely he's young. He's quiet. He's learned under John Harbaugh's defensive system, which has always been one of the best in the NFL. He went to Vanderbilt last year. Didn't have much success, but I'm going to give him just a ton of credit. Now, we've seen one-year wonders at Michigan before on the defense side of the ball. Jim Herman in 97, that defense didn't really kind of stick the next couple years after that. Don Brown, 2016, 2018, those are like wonder defenses that got exposed in certain areas of the season. And Mike McDonald, he only stuck around for 1 year, but it's one of the best defenses we've seen in recent Michigan football history. Jesse Minter has the opportunity. I hope he doesn't jump for a job after this year, which could happen. I hope that he sticks around for 3, 4, 5 years or more. He's more somebody who could be the next head coach at Michigan. You never know. But maybe he sticks around and gets a head coach at a big Power 5 job or something at some point after he's led a Michigan defense for 4 or 5 seasons and it's kept them up at the top of college football. Appreciate the super cool Moti. You are now our super chat MVP with $25. Let me know from you guys as we await that scumbag Tom Izzo is giving his post-game media interview. I'm turning this game off. This is crap. We know where they're going. Michigan will be in the top 4 in the college football playoff. The top 25 will be revealed to us. We are in Dallas, Texas, where Chat Sports headquarters is, right near where the CFP, the College Football Playoff Committee, meets every Tuesday. So we've got a representative from the committee outside of our door with an envelope for each pick. They're going to give it to Jack, and we will have it for you. You're not going to miss anything by not watching on TV or anything like that. We will have it for you the same exact time that TV networks and others have. You are watching the Michigan Football Report here on YouTube as we await the CFP top 25. Let's take a look at some of the stats. What are we waiting for here? What are we looking for? We've got wins versus AP ranked teams, and this is one that Michigan looks bad, but I do think it's one area where other conferences are overvalued early on in the year. Certainly the SEC. I mean, think about some of the teams in the SEC that were ranked earlier in the year. I mean, Texas A&M, they lost 7 straight games, 6 straight games, something like that. They were ranked in the top 6 to start the year. So the SEC, Tennessee's getting some lucky wins there. 5 ranked wins when they were when the game was played. 5 for TCU as well. Ohio State with 2. Notre Dame and Penn State. Michigan only with 1. That was the 41-17 shellacking that they gave to Penn State 4 weeks ago. Clemson with 3, although those aren't looking very pretty themselves. They went out to Notre Dame and got crushed. USC has not had a has had a ranked win so far this year. Type me if you want to shout out. We are Moments. I'm telling you now, Moments. The game is over, so within 3-4 minutes. What? Oh, we got Super? What we got? Oh, who we got? Put them up on the screen. We got an MVP. We got a $50 MVP. Type me if you want to shout out. We got John Blaze question from Sloppy Scam Web. My guy here. I'll take that question here in a second, but that puts us over 50, so we got a FaceTime an Ohio State fan. John, you just put us over there. You are our Michigan Football Report MVP. I think John gets 2 stickers for that. Well, how about this? We'll give one more sticker to the MVP at the end of the show. So if he stays the MVP, he will get one. But, John, I'm going to put you with a 50 spot right on the front of the sticker right there, right below it. I'm going to put you on there. John Blaze on Twitter. He's John Blaze Wolverine. Appreciate it, John. John Blaze, look at that. That's our Super Chat winner. Sorry for blowing your ears out there, Jack. We are going to put the hard hat back on for a few moments as we wait for the top 25 rankings. So we've got a couple of different we got waiting. They said we're T-minus 3 minutes until the CFP rankings are revealed. He says, question from Sloppy Scam Web. That's his alter ego, Sloppy Scam Web. Will Michigan surprise OSU with a multidimensional offensive scheme, passing and throwing? Go Blue Bosa. Guys, I just want to say shout out to John, the biggest super chat we've had on this show. We don't do a ton of live shows, but really appreciate it. Broke the record. He's our MVP, and he gets a spot right there on the front of the Michigan Football Report helmet. We're hard workers. We're working there. Think back to 2017, okay? Think back to 2019. Think back to 2021. All 3, 2015 was an aberration. I don't really know what that was. In 2018, again, at 15, Harbaugh's first year, Ohio State was probably the best team in college football, although they lost to Michigan State that year. 2018, I don't know what was going on. Michigan looked scared the second the ball was kicked off. But 2017, I thought was, at the time, Michigan's best offensive philosophy they've had in a game. Unfortunately, John O'Corn was the guy tasked with running that offense. And Harbaugh called maybe the best play of his career when Michigan was down by 5 or 6 points, whatever it was, in the fourth quarter, 3 minutes left. I think it was Chris Perry was wide open coming out of the backfield right over the middle, and John O'Corn overthrew him, right? That was on fourth. I think it was on 4th down, 4th and 4, 4th and 6. I thought that game plan was great. Michigan started the game 14-0. Fast forward to 2019. Michigan was, Shea Patterson threw for 250 yards in the first half. They were a Donovan Peoples-Jones drop 30, 40 yards downfield away, which I can't remember if it was in the end zone or not, but he dropped, I think it was in the end zone, away from, leading that game and, by 10 points going into halftime maybe. Nevertheless, they didn't, and that was a kind of a deflating play. And then last year, right, you had a flea flicker, an end around. You had a couple deep passes that you weren't expecting on non-normal passing down. So I don't know what we're going to see, and I don't know if it's going to be successful. Pretty sure it will be successful because I'm sure Harbaugh has. But he has shown that he will pull out something on offense that he hasn't in at least 3 or 4 years, 21, 19, 17, in some ways 16, although I don't remember those at the top of my head, that Michigan has not shown to other opponents and catches Ohio State off guard. And so I do think the best offensive game plan we're going to see from this team is going to be November 26th in Columbus. Whether or not they execute on it, I think is going to be up to the players and the coaching staff to make sure it's the right play call at the right time. All right, we're about a minute and a half so from the committee revealing us 25 through 20 and then down to the top 4 here on the college football playoff. Top 25. You know what we need to do, Jack? Let's make the while we're waiting, trying to see how if they go straight to the rankings. If the guy comes in the door, then we'll go to those. If not, we will make our FaceTime call. Okay. So here's the super chat menu for every $100. We've hit $100. We are now at $135. We are going to prank call an Ohio State fan. Wheel spin every $5. Jack, when we get a chance, doesn't have to be right now. Show everybody the wheel again. Tell them what it is. Hit Brutus. So yeah, I see this guy. Somebody sent me this Brutus. I'm just going to abuse him. Give you a couple free ones there. $20. You are on the hard hat. We'll show this every live show. We'll give you guys shout outs. Oh, I'm wearing it like an idiot. Didn't even know where it was at. And then biggest MVP, John Blaze. $55. He sent another one in? Oh, he said 50, then 5. I was like, wait a second. Okay. There you go. He is our MVP. Nick Barbier says me, wants a shout out. Appreciate it. Jack, show him the wheel. I'm going to get the, I don't know if you want to put yourself on screen there. Okay, there you go. I'm going to get the FaceTime ready, and we'll make a FaceTime call here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen the wheel already, it is right here. We have 8 different options for you guys tonight. Tell a dad joke, wear a wig for 5 minutes, which James has already done, sing Hail to the Victors, 5 squats, a shot of Fireball, prank call the Michigan State lawyer, drink a half a beer, 5 push-ups. Those are your options. $5, we spin the wheel, whatever it lands on, James has to do.
All right, there you go. Okay, so as we wait, we're gonna see what happens here. If they go straight to it, if they let us announce it right away, or if we have to wait. ESPN, unfortunately, is the TV partner, but watch with us here. We're gonna have the exact moment they do, so they get we've got to wait for their TV cadence as well. We can't jump the gun here on the Michigan Football Report. So those are your Super Chat menus. We are waiting up. Will Michigan football make the college football playoff? Give me a yes or a no down in the comments. I'm gonna. Let's see. Are we going to go there? No, we're not. Give me a second here, Jack. I don't know if you want to pull up one of those graphics for maybe the ones you're using over on the main broadcast. Yeah, that'd be great. Let me pull up. I've lost my phone numbers here. Okay, there we go. Let's take a look at the games a while. Something full screen if you can, so I can get this FaceTime rolling. There we go. No worries. Jack, Young, Harbaugh. What do we say? Are you going to go as Harbaugh? $200 Super Chat. Okay, cool. Rankings are coming in right now here on the Michigan Football Report. So we will stick with us. I am going to FaceTime an former Ohio State football coach after this ranking reveal has gone on. So Jack is going to get these up on screen as soon as we have them, where they're starting to roll in the top 25 here in the college football playoff. I am just going to, you can bring me full screen if you want, Jack, while we're waiting for them. I will just start reading them off as the committee member has handed us the envelope inside the door. I got to punch this guy, super chat me $10, and I'm not going to take him down. This is just preposterous. Cincinnati coming in 8-2. Cincinnati Bearcats, they are number 25. North Carolina State at number 24. Oregon State, kind of a shocking year for Oregon State. I didn't expect anything from them this year. They are number 23. Oklahoma State, the 7-3 Oklahoma State Cowboys are 22, and then Tulane, who has a big win themselves, right? They beat Kansas State early in the year. They are number 21. We will have not top 20 coming up for you here in a moment on screen, but producer is in my ear telling me what we have for the top 20, so I'll tell them to you guys. UCF is number 20. Florida State at 7-3, right? They beat LSU earlier in the year at 19. Notre Dame is your number 18 team, and then Washington is 17. The Huskies have just got a big win this past weekend. They beat Oregon, and then UCLA at 8-2. They've lost a couple games, and they're going to have an opportunity to play themselves potentially into a college football. Sorry, not to a college football, but to a Pac-12 championship. They have USC. Winner of that game is in a good position to make the Pac-12 championship game. UCF, Florida State, Notre Dame, Washington, and UCLA. Notre Dame has a couple games here coming up that are pretty interesting, but that is where we are at. UCF, Florida State, Notre Dame, Washington, and UCLA. All right, coming full screen here, and we will give you the top 15. Just got the envelope. They're holding it up in front of me. We're getting on screen here in one moment. Kansas State, 7-3. They're a close game. Texas lost, a Tulane loss. I mean, they had a very close game against TCU. They could be having a much better season. They could be in the top 10. Nevertheless, they're 7-3. Ole Miss at number 14. They lost a close one to Alabama last week. They have 2 losses. North Carolina, kind of the low-key team that we weren't expecting here because they gave up 60-plus points in the opener to App State. They've struggled here and there. They lost their Notre Dame team, a bad Notre Dame team at the time that's now having a resurgence. They're number 18, Notre Dame is. North Carolina, Oregon, who just lost this past weekend to Washington, and then Penn State at number 11. That's great for Michigan. That's something you want to see happen. Root for Penn State to stay winning, win their last 2 games. Why? Well, I don't know about you guys. If Michigan were to lose to Ohio State, which they won't, okay, then I would still want Michigan to make the college football playoff, have another shot to win a national title, and I think Penn State being in the top 10 or so really can help that cause. All right, we are going to jump now inside the top 10 here in the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports College Football Playoff Top 25. Because we're coming up in the rankings, somebody super chat $10. Somebody super chat $10. I will take Brutish Buckeye off the show for the rest of the show, but we get $10 more. That was the goal in the super chat menu, and we will have your top 10 in the college football playoff. I think that's supposed to be 10 through 7 coming up, and there it is on screen. We have Utah, the Utah Utes at 8-2. They are your number 10 team in college football playoff rankings. They lost a pretty bad game to Florida, looking back now in the first week, but now they've kind of had a resurgence, only one loss since, and they are your number 10 team. 9-1 Clemson, the Clemson Tigers, who got waxed a couple weeks ago at Notre Dame, coming in at number 9. They've got an outside chance, right? This is the cutting part right here. Every team above here, Utah does not. No chance. But every team going forward has at least a chance to make the college football playoff. And I'll kind of, as we release these, as we announce them, I'll reveal for them there. Jack, if you can, get number 6 off there, since that'll be on that last graphic if you're able to. But number 9, Clemson, they have a chance. They win. They've got one loss, but they win the ACC. They'll be undefeated in the ACC, and they will have the opportunity to make the college football playoff. But they need a lot of losses. They need a TCU loss. They need maybe even a Tennessee loss. I don't know. They definitely need some help with Michigan, Ohio State. But nevertheless, Clemson could jump in there. Alabama. Actually, I take that back. I said the top 9 teams. I don't think Alabama has a chance. I don't think they do. They're not going to. They're 2-loss team, and they're not going to be in the college football playoff. So. Who was the team we had those odds earlier, Jack? Who was the team that's missing here? Because Alabama wasn't on there, were they? The National College Football Playoff odds. So LSU, TCU, cool. Yeah, toss those up on the screen. So who's on here that wasn't? So North Carolina, where were they ranked? They were not in the top 10, were they? No, they were like 12. So North Carolina, because they're an ACC team with one loss, because potentially they could win their last 2 games and then play Clemson in an ACC title game, I think that's why they're getting odds and they still have a chance. So I just kind of assumed that this was the case with what we saw here with these 9 teams total. But nevertheless, Alabama, even though they lost 2 games, should have lost 4, and won a close one against number 10 or 11 Ole Miss last week, they remain at number 8. Let's keep it rolling here. We'll kind of take you through the top 25 as we await the top 7 in the CFP rankings. The kind of 1-loss teams, the undefeated teams, and then a 2-loss LSU will be in there. Cincinnati, North Carolina State, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, and Tulane are 25 through 21. Come up with the top 20, UCF, Florida State, Notre Dame, Washington, and UCLA. And quickly, as we're getting them in coming here, we can go to the rest, Jack, or we can kind of jump to the top 7, whatever's easier for you. Yeah, I go through this really quick. Kansas State, Ole Miss, North Carolina, Oregon, and Penn State. And then Utah, Clemson, Alabama is your number 8. Utah number 10, Clemson, and then Alabama. After 2 losses, now they are in top 8. Your top 7 teams being revealed now. Georgia is number 1 again. Ohio State is your number 2 team here in the college football playoff. 3rd playoff top 25 rankings. Michigan, number 3. So nothing's changed, although I think there was some chatter. There was some talk out there. There were people saying that TCU, they got a ranked win last week against Texas, who's not ranked anymore. They've had, 5 ranked wins this year, right? At the time, only 2, I think, remain. That TCU could and should jump ahead of Michigan, but nevertheless, they do not. So I think that helps Michigan just kind of thinking about what things look like after the Ohio State game. Look, I am kind of in this boat right now with TCU that if Michigan were to lose to Ohio State, I'm rooting for TCU to lose a game, right? Every game. But if when Michigan beats Ohio State, I don't know. TCU at number 3, Ohio State dropping out of there. That might make a nice little 2-3 matchup there. Tennessee comes in. They are number 5. They're right on the cusp, just waiting for Georgia, or Ohio State, or TCU, or Michigan, one of those teams to lose to jump into the top 4. Given that Ohio State and Michigan play each other, one of them will lose. So Tennessee kind of thinks they're going to jump up in there. I do think it'll be interesting to see the Ohio State-Michigan loser versus Tennessee for that number 4th spot. If TCU does win out, what that looks like. I'm very, very intrigued to see how that shakes out. But that is your top 4: Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, and Tennessee. We're going to wait for number 6 and number 7 for them to put it through the door via the College Football Playoff Committee. As we're waiting for number 6 and number 7, type Go Blue if you're a Michigan football fan. I'm going to give a few shout-outs here on the live stream. We will, waiting for a $10 super chat as LSU. We're going to put that on screen. Keep typing Go Blue from JT, Michael Bettisworth, Bosa. USC is number 7. LSU is number 6. So your top 6, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, Tennessee, LSU, and then USC is there at number 7. So a lot of ways, USC still has an outside chance. And, if they were dominant in their last few games, they've got UCLA, and they've got Notre Dame, and they'd have a college football or a big Pac-12 championship game against either UCLA or Oregon, maybe Washington. I haven't really checked how the Pac-12 tiebreakers shake out. If they won out, I could see USC getting in the college football playoff, right? Ohio State, Michigan, one of those knocks each other out. TCU could easily lose. They've got Baylor, they've got Iowa State, and they've got likely a Kansas State rematch or maybe Texas potentially, although that seems unlikely at this point. Those teams can lose. That could be 2 there. LSU, they're going to face Georgia, so one of those 2 teams will lose. I'm guessing LSU, they knock themselves out. I think they're sitting pretty there. Number 7 for USC. I think if they win out, I would put their odds of making the college football playoff probably 40 to 50%. All right, we are going to take a bunch of questions from you guys. We are going to ask you one more time, though, to subscribe to 23,027 subscribers. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. 23,027 subscribers here in the Michigan Football Report. Really appreciate everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Hit the button or send that link to a friend. How about Jack? Do we have a question? Grade the CFP's rankings. I want to see what everyone's thinking here on the live show, if we have that for you guys. So what do you guys think about these rankings, right? I think this is probably their best ranking, although I do still think that Michigan deserves to be number 2 based on their body of work so far this year. But what do you guys think about these college football playoff rankings? I'm going to give them a B+ at this point. They're only an A away from Michigan being number 2 instead of number 3, which they should be. And then I really kind of wonder what Alabama number 8 over Clemson over North Carolina. I mean, come on. I mean, they could have lost 4 games. Jack, it seems like we've got some crazy chat going on in the comments. You got sex bots? We have sex bots? I saw somebody blocked one of those. Girls 69 XYZ. Okay, cool. Go Blue Guy, can you give my channel a shout out in the video? Lots of Michigan football content. Sure, Go Blue Guy. Let me know. What do you have? Some stuff on your channel? I'll click on your profile. Can we do that from the we click at people's profile from live chat? I don't think we can we? Put user in timeout. No, that's a pretty bad. Elon Musk needs to buy YouTube and fix that, I guess. If I was in a room with Hitler and Brutus and I had a gun with 2 bullets, I would. Where'd that go? I would shoot Brutus twice. I like that one. That's a good one. Okay. Coming in here, Dylan H. As we'll run through, Jack. Why don't we go through? Take this super chat from Dylan H. Dylan, thank you so much. Let's run through the top 25 one more time, and then why don't we look at this? Do we have schedules or player ranks profiles for the top 5, 6, 7 teams? I think Sam created. Cool. Let's go over schedules of those top 5, 6, 7 teams, some of them, and then we'll take the FaceTime call here with a Michigan football coach. Snowy in the UP right now, hoping for the same on November 26th against that team down south. Go Blue, Bosa, Dylan H. You get a spin, Jack. You get a spin. Let's see, wheel spin. I'm just gonna take a sip of the beer here. It's it's coming up on 10 o'clock Eastern time, 10:15. Producer Jack, aka Young Harbaugh, spinning that wheel. Let's see what you got, Jack. 5 push-ups. Okay, I'm going to go down. Jack, why don't you tell the people how I'm doing and give me a grade on my form, okay? Okay.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, he's doing more. 7, 8, 9.
10? Did I go up?
No, you did 9.
I did 9? I thought I did 10.
You did 9. I was counting.
Okay, ready.
10. There we go.
My bad. I thought maybe I always thought you were one behind me. Okay, cool. So there you go. 10 push-ups. Thank you so much, Dylan H. All right, let's just do the. I'm gonna try and get the FaceTime up now, Jack. So give me 1 second. Yeah. Put the bracket up. All right. Let's see that. As we said, Jack, tell the people what they're looking at for a second while I get this going, if you can.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, here is the official bracket for the College Football Playoff on November 15th. Georgia number 1, Ohio State number 2, Michigan number 3, TCU number 4, Tennessee number 5, and LSU number 6. You need TCU to lose. You really do. That's imperative.
All right, I'm going to FaceTime here, Jack. When he picks up.
Who are we?
This is a very special guest.
Well, I don't know.
There he is. All right, put it on screen. We got sound here, Jack. I don't know if I can hear you in my... Zach, talk for me. No, I cannot. Oh, man, is the computer muted? 1 second. All right, we got Ohio State, former Ohio State wide receiver coach Zach Smith, 3-time national champion, although I can't hear you now. Hold on a second. Oh, gosh. Sorry. 1 second. Am I muted? Are he muted? Zach, can you hear me?
Nope.
Oh, there we go. I can hear him. He cannot hear me though. All right. Can you guys hear me right now in the live chat? Say yes. Okay. Zach, you cannot hear me though. Damn. Okay. What we got, Jack? 1 second, everybody. We will talk. We're Zach. Okay. They can hear me. Okay. Sorry, Leon. My bad. We don't do this normally. We're just trying something at the last second here. Some hands, Charles. Yes. Give me 1 second, Zach. Oh, brutal. I don't know. The computer muted itself or something? Hey, take it off here if you can, because I don't want everyone to see Zach's number or anything like that. Zach, can you hear me now?
I can.
Nice. Okay, sorry. I think the settings went on mute accidentally on the computer. We're hooking it up to the software. All right, if you guys can't hear me or Nerf Dog says to try staying at 1 foot yard, I can do it. All right, Zach, we hit $100 in Super Chat a little bit ago, right before the CFP Top 25 came out. So I am FaceTime pranking an Ohio State fan. Zach, you were an Ohio State coach in the 2014 National Championship game. So I'm going to tell you before I ask you a couple questions, I'm going to say, go fuck yourself. Michigan's going to kick Ohio State's fucking ass. And if I see you after the game, I'm going to smack you as a friend because you know that's what Michigan's going to do to Ohio State. But what do you see out of this Michigan team so far, Zach, that makes you think that they have a chance at all, whatever you think about winning in Columbus in 11 days?
Well, they have one of, if not the best offensive lines in the country. Their front seven is legitimate. I think it's a interesting dynamic because, you know, Ohio State fans will say Michigan hasn't played anyone. And I'm kind of the alter ego where I'm like, well, neither has Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Like, neither team has played anyone like they're going to play on November 26th. And I think that creates so much curiosity because I've watched Ohio State. They've struggled. They've dominated. Michigan has struggled and dominated. And it's like their offensive line is legitimate. Their front seven on defense is legitimate. And they're two different teams.
Yeah. So what is your take? My take is right now as I'm looking at my camera here, Zach, so sorry for not looking. I'll look at you here as well. I've got you on the side of me. But I have been a often critic of C.J. Stroud. Now, I recognize his talent. I think that passing the ball, he's kind of like reminds me of Dwayne Haskins. Rest in peace to him. But like they just throw the ball so differently than any other quarterback I've seen. Dwayne Haskins in 18. Like I've never seen a quarterback like him in Big Ten football before. And I think C.J. Stroud right now is everything looks so effortlessly. You think every play is going to be a touchdown. But I do question his toughness, and I do question his willingness to. We saw it against Northwestern a little bit, but is he not running because he's afraid of getting hit? So my mantra last year, and I don't know if it was necessarily the reason Michigan won, but I was like, just beat the shit out of him as fast as you can so he starts seeing ghosts by the end of the first quarter. Is that a fair criticism going into this game as well?
I would have said it was 4 weeks ago, but the Northwestern game was kind of out of necessity. He had to run just because of the, whatever excuse you want to give, the weather conditions, they couldn't throw, whatever. But he's kind of doubled down on that. He doubled down on it this past weekend against Indiana, where he's not only willing to run, but they're asking him to run, and he's grown a lot in the last 3 weeks. And I'm the biggest CJ Stroud critic, to the point where people wanted to fight me about it last year and then early this year also. But I would have told you 4 weeks ago that I questioned CJ Stroud's toughness. I can't double down on that today. I think it's still somewhat an unknown. And when I really watch both of these teams, it's like CJ Stroud, the pass game at Ohio State, it's so good. Mm-hmm. And the run game has come along a lot for Ohio State. And then I look at Michigan, and it's kind of the opposite, right? The run game is so dominant, but the throw game, it's come along a little bit, right? And so you look at the teams, and they're so vastly different, but so vastly similar at the same time. Yeah. And both front sevens have been outstanding. I think Ohio State has been a little weaker in the back end, although injured. And I think if they have their 2 starting corners back, they're much stronger than they've been at times this year. Yeah. But this is, I prior to last season, I've said every year this is not an even matchup. Yeah. Last year, to Ohio State fans' dismay, I was like, this is going to be a really tough get out for Ohio State, and it was. Obviously, they got manhandled. And this is the first year I felt like it is a pretty evenly matched game.
Mm-hmm. So I had one question for you, but you made me think of something there when you were saying it. What do you make of Michigan's wide receivers? Because I think we were tricked into recruiting rankings and promise of J.J. McCarthy being able to throw downfield. But after you get out of UConn, Hawaii, and he had that one game, I think it was in Maryland, Indiana, J.J. had 300 yards. It was Indiana on the road. But Michigan is not throwing the ball past 20 yards at all this year. And I read a stat, like earlier, Jack, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had the stat, like J.J. was throwing for the first 6 starts, like 87% completion on play action. Last week, he was 4 of 4 for like 59 yards on play action or something like that. And I might be getting the stats, like 4 of 16 or something like that on the rest of the plays that day. So what do you make of Michigan's wide receiver and really just their passing game in general as a former wide receiver coach yourself?
Well, I could spit analytics that say Michigan's receivers are not very good, but I don't believe that. I think this is kind of a Jim Harbaugh deal where they just run the ball so well. And don't get me wrong, JJ, he struggles throwing a deep ball. He does. I mean, he needs developed and he needs to learn how to throw a deep ball with a little more air, a little more accurately. But I also was there when JT Barrett couldn't hit a deep ball to save his life. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you can't throw the ball just because you're not great at throwing a deep ball. I just don't think they asked him to do it much. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think he threw like 4 passes over 10 yards last week.
Yeah. And only 4 passes in the second half in general, right?
Right. Wow. And so I think it's more of what Jim Harbaugh is asking him to do. And these receivers, it's tough as a receiver to be like the one-trick pony that every 7 plays you go to. And I do think Desmond Howard was incredibly overstating the talent that was at Michigan. I mean, he said 1 through 10. They had 10 receivers that could play anywhere. And I was like, whoa, what are we talking about? No, they don't.
Desmond's been known to say ridiculous things on the internet. Am I right? I mean,
very, very right. But I still don't believe. I mean, I think last year, even after they beat Ohio State, I was screaming that J.J. McCarthy had to be the quarterback if they were going to make noise in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I believe in his abilities. And never mind his deep ball. I've been around quarterbacks who aren't great at deep balls. I mean, Stetson Bennett at Georgia is not a great deep ball quarterback. So it's like we can blame that. It's more about, all right, what's their offensive scheme? Are they relying on deep balls? Or are they asking him to be who he is? And kind of my biggest criticism on Michigan is it seems like Jim Harbaugh made the right choice in starting JJ, but he's forcing JJ to be Cade McNamara. And you're like, why?
What's interesting, their stats right now, JJ has like 100 yards less through 10 games. One more start for Cade last year, but also has 30 less passing attempts, which is crazy because last year Cade, through the first 4 games, only had like 61 passing attempts, like 15 a game through 4 games. So it's wild to see. I don't know. It's it'll be interesting. I do think the weather will play a factor, despite what people want to, Ohio State fans want to say it's not an issue and it didn't hurt last year. At some point, like, oh, C.J. Stroud had a great game. You said last year at the time. I'm not sure if you still have that take that C.J., despite throwing for a lot of yards, didn't have a great game. He's kind of bailed out here and there, and when it counted, he didn't make the throws.
No, and that's what it was last year. I mean, C.J. had the main problem is people look at stats and they think that tells the story, and it's like you got to watch the film and see. And the two things that were misstated last year was like CJ played great, the defense sucked. It's like, no, the defense did suck, but CJ didn't play great. And the other thing that got overstated was like Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson got locked down. Like, no, they didn't. And that's part of the reason why the criticism belonged on CJ is those kids got open at times and they didn't get hit.
Yeah.
And so when you look at this year, I think the weather is going to be understated in Buckeye country. We watched the Northwestern game, and that was brutal. And I think the other part is, I think the biggest thing for Ohio State is, does Jackson Smith-Njigba come back? Is he healthy? Can he play? Because around here, they think that this receiver group is just lights out, best thing that ever happened. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is as advertised. He is ridiculous. But the rest of that group has underperformed all year. And the other side of this is they've underperformed against lesser talent.
Sure.
And so in this game with DJ Turner and the gamut of DBs that Michigan has, I think it's going to be a true test to that group. And without JSN, I'm not saying I'm concerned, but they don't have Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson anymore, and that didn't go well last year.
Yeah, we did a segment yesterday that Michigan's got 7 defensive backs this year with starting reps. Gemon Green missed, so Will Johnson got his first start. But Ohio State, it got, if JSN's not there, you've got Emeka Ibuka and Marvin Harrison, the super soft 5 stars. But then Julian Fleming, and after that, it's a big drop off from the wide receivers. And Fleming has been kind of hit or miss. 40. I think I read a stat recently. 45% of the catches, like the last 3 weeks, maybe 40%. Marvin Harrison was like 45% of the receptions the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I know there's a Northwestern game in there, but you bracket him a little bit. But then Ibuka, Fleming, we'll see. But one last question for you, and you can kind of just combine with what you're going to say there is, what should Michigan fans, Michigan team, etc., expect? What's Ryan Day doing the next 11 days, right? You guys worked together for a year in 2017. You know what his approach is, right? It was his first year as a college offensive coordinator, so I'm sure he's changed. Now he's a head coach. But what's Ryan Day doing the next 10 days? How is he taking Michigan differently or seriously? And, how does he approach a big game compared to, Northwestern on the road?
Well, there's that unwritten – untalked about thing that happens, right? It's happened every year for the Michigan game, certainly, but any big game like that where you're playing Maryland and it's like, all right, we should win. We need to make sure we do win. Yep. And so you can't just full sell, just prepare for Michigan, but at the same time, he's going to designate at least one coach on offense and defense and in private meetings, the players will never know this. It's like, hey, you're going to game plan Michigan all week. And we'll brief you for maybe an hour before meetings, so you know what you're talking about. You get your players ready for Maryland, but I need you for this entire week to game plan Michigan, so that when we start on Sunday, we have a head start.
Yeah,
you can give us the rundown and save us a couple hours of time, because in a game like this, a couple hours for a staff is monumental.
Yeah,
and so he'll have all the support staff will be working on Michigan, and probably one full-time coach on each side of the ball. It was always me. I was always the guy.
Yeah.
It's Brian Hartline is probably that guy where he's like, hey, Brian, we'll tell you the game plan. You can teach your players we'll teach it to you in an hour. You need to spend your time on Michigan and really give us some tells, give us some insight, give us some intel.
So, and I said one last question. Thanks for giving us the time. I know it's late there, 10:30.
Yeah,
you've got
good.
5, 7, 10 kids, however many you've got these days. So you got a lot of stuff going on. So appreciate it, Zach. So one question I'll ask of you from just like a fan perspective is, fans will always say like, oh, well, we're saving that for the Michigan game. We're saving it for Ohio State. So how real is that? Because I've said this for the last couple weeks that Michigan is like, if we didn't see against Michigan State and then Rutgers, Nebraska, I'm like, if we're not seeing 7, 8, 9 games in the year, this passing offense that we're hoping from J.J. McCarthy, you're not just going to pull it out against Ohio State. You might have 1 or 2 trick plays or something different, but how often are teams saving it for the end of the year?
There's no such thing. I mean, you could say if Michigan played Hawaii and Colorado State, they saved a lot in those two games.
Yeah.
But you get to this game, your whole offense and defense is on the table. It's already on film. And there will be some game plan specific things that they game plan, maybe create even for this game that, stylistically it's a great concept against what Michigan does or vice versa against what Ohio State does.
Yeah.
But there's nothing saved. And I fight that with Ohio State fans. They're like, oh, I think Ryan Day's saving C.J. Stroud running the ball for Michigan. It's like, what? Why? Like, he could lose to Penn State. No, he's not.
Seriously.
That's just not a thing.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. I've heard Ohio State fans just talk about the C.J. Stroud running, for 2 years, but this year in particular. Cool. So any early prediction for the game? I know we're still 11 days out, but what are you thinking?
I mean, the biggest thing for me, before I could even predict it, I need to know who's healthy for Ohio State. I mean, every game they've had one of their two starting running backs hurt. They had the right tackle hurt this past game. Jackson Smith-Njigba has been non-existent all year. So and on top of that, I don't think they've had their best two corners play in a game together since maybe week 3. So I need to know who's healthy. I mean, if Ohio State is injury ridden, I don't know that they can win the game.
Yeah.
If they're fully healthy, then I feel much better about Ohio State's chances in this game. So it's going to come down to the injury report, which Ryan Day, he doesn't tell you anything. Everybody's a game time decision, always.
No doubt. Great, Zach. What's your week looking like next week? You want to do a little guest for guest or something like that? Come on yours or come on mine? Okay, I'll text you later on this week or this weekend. We'll try and set something up for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or something like that next week before Thanksgiving. Cool.
Sounds good, man.
All right, we got 3-time national champion Zach Smith, 2 at Florida, 1 at Ohio State. He's coached under Urban Meyer, coached under Ryan Day. He coached at Marshall and Temple, right? Am I right there? Cool.
Yep.
Thanks so much for joining, Zach. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week, my man. Good stuff.
Appreciate you.
Later, brother.
All right.
Take that off. Okay, cool. All right, let's FaceTime. Let me ask you guys this question. We rarely, if ever, almost never, we used to do about 3 years ago when we broadcast this on Facebook Live. Come on yours, come on mine, Zach, John Blaze, I'm sorry. Funny stuff. I get you. Pause. We got Zach, so I'm going to smack this guy out of there. Brutus is gone, and we will put him down there. So what did you guys think about having on guests? That was unprompted. I texted Zach an hour or two ago and said, hey, you're going to be awake in a couple hours. I might FaceTime you, blah, blah, blah. He said, sure. Should we do more guests in the future? Let me know here in the live chat because we are going to take about 15 or 20 more minutes of your questions. But before we dive into that, type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know, should we have more guests in the future? Do you want to have former coaches like Zach Smith and former Michigan players? We've got a boatload of them that I've talked to over the year that we could potentially have on. But, I don't know. We've put out content. Chat Sports, the company I founded, we've got 30 YouTube shows. And we've never had success with interview-style content. It's always been about entertainment and insight. Interviews has not been our shtick, so that's why we haven't done a ton of them. So let me know why for yes and for no. See, a lot of whys in. So we'll have Zach on either Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Jack, would you want more live guests? Comment yes or no or Y or N. Yes, Yoder from Mike Layden. I'm going to try one more FaceTime if we can get one more person because people who have watched this show for at least 3 years, they will have heard this name at least once or twice. If you watch every show, you've heard of him a handful of times. Let me make one more call here. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to make one more call to a very special viewer of the show. Okay, so hope people watching can probably just hear me when I mumble the phone number, and they'll be like, I know that person's number. All right, so this is the don't go on until we get him here. This is the kid who's got the most decked out Ohio State room in history. Let me unmute him. Aiden, go ahead and talk.
What's up?
What's up? This is my nephew, Aiden. And is this by happenstance? Are you wearing an Ohio State sweatshirt on already before I texted you, or is this did you put it on because I texted you?
Oh, yeah, this has been on since 7 in the morning.
All right, Aiden, you are live on the Michigan Football Reports. We've got about 300 Michigan fans here watching. We've been on live for about an hour and a half, college football playoff. So I just want to know, well, first of all, I'm going to tell you off. your parents raised you wrong. You're a complete bum. Michigan's going to kick Ohio State's butt. And next time I see you, I'm going to take you, put you in a headlock, and dive you into your pool, and I'm going to make you put on a Michigan shirt. So that's my talking trash to you. But give me your quick take on how you became a Michigan fan, or I'm sorry, Ohio State fan, and number one. And number two, what do you think about for the game next weekend?
Well, I've pretty much always been a Ohio State fan.
I heard you. I did it too. You did it. That's fine. Go ahead.
Yep. Dad was an Ohio State fan. Grandpa.
Okay.
Got it from the right side of the family.
All right. And then what's your take for the game next weekend?
I think CJ Stroud's going to pass all over Michigan. Sorry, excuse for a defense.
Sorry, excuse for a defense. Okay, I'm going to give you guys, if you want Aiden's home address, I'm going to put it on the show here in a second. That's a joke, Aiden. Aiden, where are you at? In your room?
Yeah.
Show the people your room, because I put this on Twitter last summer when I was at your house, and I got like 50,000 people viewed it because he's got his entire room decked out in Ohio State gear. This is my sister's son. He's a freshman in high school. Freshman or sophomore? Freshman?
Sophomore.
Sophomore in high school. And I'll tell you what, he's probably going to get kicked out of the family pretty soon based on what you're seeing right there. So, Aiden, I'm going to FaceTime you again next week. You're going to do another one of these appearances, okay? So bring it next week, and win or lose, you'll be hearing from me after the game a week from Saturday.
All right, sounds good.
Go Blue. All right, there is my nephew Aiden here on the Michigan Football Report. All right, we will start taking your questions, guys. We've got a $20 super chat. Why don't we want to take that now? Yeah, let's just go ahead and take that now. Wolverine, Alaska. We got another one from him. All right. So should we get – I don't think we're doing 2 stickers per person, are we, or no? Okay. Got it. Excellent interview. Any chance you can get active players on FaceTime? Can you put Leanne's name on the hard hat? My sweet daughter who has Williams syndrome. Thanks so much. Sorry to hear about your daughter. I don't know off the top of my head what Williams syndrome is. I apologize for that. Jack will look it up and whisper it in my ear, but I wish her the best, and we'll absolutely add a sticker for her right up front. Let me see how you spell it. Leanne with a capital A and a capital L. I got you right now. Wolverine, Alaska. Let's put it right up here. I'm going to put it right beneath yours, okay? All right, Jack whispering the details don't sound great, so I really feel for you guys and hope she's living the best life we can with Williams syndrome. So I'm going to get it on there, Leanne. I'm going to draw a little arrow between these two so we know they're together. All right, so we got Leanne right there. She is on the helmet, Michigan Football Report. And we have questions in there. Can we get active players? Look, in name, image, and likeness, it's much easier and better because I'll give you guys a little insight. And we're just riffing here, right, a little bit. So I will tell you my thoughts. Is last summer – I had 2 college football players right there. It just wasn't the time for us as a company. We had some different initiatives going on for the 2021 college football season, but it just wasn't the right time for us. But I had a college football quarterback at a big-time top 10 program, and then a running back at a historical power that we're going to do a weekly YouTube show with, but just didn't get to work out, but was willing to pay them. And I even told them, look, you should be telling your media people who want to prevent you from talking to anybody and just kind of do your weekly press conference, media scrums, et cetera, do the standard thing. I'm like, tell them if they have any pushback that you're hurting their earnings. We'd be willing to pay you tens of thousands of dollars throughout the football season and potentially even per month if you're able to create great content. And so it's out there. It's potential. I haven't really thought about this season a lot, but I'm certainly open to it going forward. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, I know the interviews, but look, there's been Blake Corum did 45 minutes of interview last week with Robert Smith, right, former Ohio State running back. It was actually a really good interview. I learned a lot about Blake Corum. I learned a lot about just Robert Smith, Ohio State, some stuff about Ohio State Michigan football rivalry, etc. But it got less audience on YouTube than this show does on a random show that we do on a Wednesday afternoon or something like that. So I always wonder why certain athlete level interviews just don't do the numbers, frankly, because sometimes athletes are boring in their interviews. But we will, if we do it, we'll try and be our best to be entertaining. All right, we are going to start doing a live Q&A here. I'm going to take this next 10 or 12, 15 minutes here, come up in a second. We are going to put on the channel. I'm going to have a little sip of beer. Because we've been live nearly 2 hours. So get your questions in using hashtag Michigan or Super Chat to get your questions answered. I'm going to be ready for the cut. 2 hours is a long time, right? No bathroom breaks, no commercial breaks, really, et cetera, et cetera. So let's see. Who we got as a sponsor for this next one. We're going BetUS. BetUS. If you guys want a free Michigan football jersey from one of our sponsors, make sure you keep watching. Use hashtag Michigan. It puts us your question right at the hashtag or the top of as the top of Jack's feed. So if you see in the chat right now, you just do one of those bad boys, and then your question, just like that, you go to the top of the feed. Your question will be on the show. Use hashtag Michigan, or we're going to jump into quite a few of the super chats that have been waiting that we haven't put on the show yet. I'm your host, James Yoder. You're watching the Michigan Football Report. We are going to take your questions here on the show, diving into all things surrounding Jim Harbaugh's number 3 ranked Michigan football team in the just recently released third college football playoff top 25. So as always, if you want to get your question on one of our shows, there's 2 ways typically. It's use hashtag Michigan or Super Chat. We're going to call that 1A, 1B, or we put calls for questions on the YouTube community, on my Twitter feed, and on our Facebook page every Tuesday or Wednesday, and sometimes Saturday after the game, depending on how the Michigan game goes. And we answer typically on any given week about 18 to 25 of those questions. Question coming in from Young Harbaugh. Jack, I think someone's trying to mimic you because that's your nickname. This is Jack's nickname. I think somebody changed their YouTube name to get in the feed. He says, I know it's early, but what do you think this team looks like next season in 2023? Good question. Maybe not at the right time, but I'll still answer it because you got the question here in the queue from a super chatter or whatever it was. Let's talk about Michigan's team next year. You're going to lose Ronnie Bell, as we told you about earlier in the show on the live show. And you're going to lose Olu Oluwatimi. You're going to lose Jake Moody for sure. Brad Robbins as well for sure. But other than that, you don't really have a ton of for sures across the line. Maybe like Ryan. I can't remember if Ryan Hayes is a 6 year off the top of my head or not. But you would likely be able to bring back at least 3 or 4 starting offensive linemen, depending on what Ryan Hayes. I'm pretty sure he's got 1 more year, guys. This is 5th year. He's got a 6 left for Michigan. Now, Blake Corum is going to leave, but Donovan Edwards. Okay. I think Michigan will address the running back position. J.J. McCarthy, I think they'll get a quarterback transfer to be a backup or a third stringer as well, like they did the quarterback from Texas Tech before last season. Going over to defense. I trust Michigan's defensive line no matter who the players are, but Mozzie Smith's going to likely go to the NFL, leave a year or 2 of eligibility on the table with the COVID year. I think it's just 1 year he's got left. He could come back. But Mike Morris, to be determined, right? Just don't know about the injuries on him. Mike Morris could come back for another year next year. The rest of the defensive line certainly could. Ayabioki, right? 5th-year player. He's got another year next year, but will he, won't he? Really like what we see out of Mason Graham in the middle. So I don't think Michigan's going to drop off on the defensive line. On the linebacker group, Junior Colson coming in his junior year. Michael Barrett could come back. Nikhai Hill-Green will return. So you've got 3 starter-level players there. And then in the secondary, DJ Turner, I expect he can come back, but I do expect him to probably leave. But I think Rod Moore, R.J. Moten, and who am I missing? Makari Page will all come back as safeties unless one of them decides they're not getting enough playing time and transfer. I'd say R.J. Moten would be the most likely if someone did transfer, but no one's going to the NFL from that group. And then, G-Mon Green is technically he could come back for next year. He's got a 6 year of eligibility. I don't know if he will or not, but I think Michigan's going to be just fine with Will Johnson and some others there at corner. So I think next year is looking out to be a great year, right? If Michigan can win the Big Ten and go undefeated in the regular season, and if they can be competitive in the CFP, right? I'm not expecting them to win the national title. No, we are expecting them to win the national title. But if they don't, if they're competitive, it can't be like last year where they get blown out by Georgia and it's not a competitive game. If they're competitive in the CFP, win that semifinal, give it a game in the championship game, whatever it is, they don't look like they don't belong like they kind of did last year. I think this is a top 2 or 3 ranked team going into next year. The biggest question marks will be the running game without Blake Corum and the depth of the linebackers in a lot of ways, because Michigan has been playing kind of on thin ice all year, and Akai Hill-Green out, and not really anyone who's developed underneath those guys. Jimmy Rolder and some others have gotten playing time, but not enough to really think that they're going to come through next season. Cruel Moti with the super. He says, start, bench, or cut. This is the question. This is super from earlier. Okay, cool. Start, bench, or cut, Hassan Haskins, Blake Corum, or Mike Hart. I gave a more lengthy answer than I will now on the live show. What, about minute 61 or something like that, if you guys want to go back to the live show from Tuesday night. It pains me to say, but I would cut Hassan Haskins, not because I don't love him. I think what he did for Michigan last year and, being part of the program 2018 to 2021, I just absolutely never forget him. If I have another son, he's getting named Hassan. But he would, based on the fact that he was only 1 year as the true starter and it didn't reach the Heisman heights, he was right there, but not truly a Heisman contender like Blake Corum is. I would cut him. I would Blake Corum my backup, and Mike Hart would start. But if Blake Corum wins the Heisman, if they beat Ohio State, that means they beat Ohio State, they go undefeated, 2 straight wins versus the Buckeyes. He's going to win the Heisman Trophy. And if he does, he'd be the first true running back in Michigan football history. They've had 3 Heisman Trophy winners. Tom Harmon, a Mr. Everything. He was a running back, a quarterback, a punter, a kicker, a defensive lineman. Desmond Howard and Charles Woodson, right? You had a receiver and a defensive back. So being the first running back in Michigan football history to win the Heisman, he would be my number 1 in school history based on that one special year alone. If you guys have not yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are going on 2 hours live here. We're at 2 hours live exactly. And we from Tuesday night, if you're watching this later in the week, this Michigan football audience mailbag comes from our Tuesday night live show. If you didn't join, that means you probably weren't subscribed, probably didn't have your notifications on to see that we went live. It's youtube.com/MichiganTV. Carl Corliss says, how about Jaden Davis? Is he about to commit? Can he reclassify? 2 great questions there. 2 great questions. Number 1 is, unless I'm being lied to by people that I trust to give me whatever information they can from inside the halls of Michigan football. I talked to a couple people who were in Shep Belker Hall on Friday and Saturday last week for the home game against Nebraska, and the word is that he left the game, when his last trip there, right on the cusp of committing, but hasn't committed yet, but has given every indication the second his season is over, he's going to put the wheels in motion to be part of Michigan's recruiting class. Now, I think with J.J. McCarthy coming back for 2023, and based on the season's played out, it's not a guarantee that he's going to leave after next season as a junior, as an NFL prospect. We'll have to see on that. I don't think it'd be a bad thing for Jaden Davis to try and reclassify, whether it's, I doubt it can be after this semester because that's a year and a half too early, but could he take more classes this spring and into the summer and be part of Michigan's team next fall, next summer? I think it'd be great if it's possible. We saw Quinn Ewers do it on almost no notice. He made the decision like June or May of his junior year in high school and was on Ohio State's campus 2.5 months later. So if he can do it, I would think it'd be a good idea, since Michigan didn't really have any QB recruits in the 2022 class that you can really put, a crown on for the future. And so far in 2023, they missed out on Dante Moore, no one else coming down the pipeline. You don't want to have J.J. McCarthy leave after the 2023 season and have to be relying on either one of the guys that's backing him up right now, Davis Warren, Alex Orji or somebody like that, or a true freshman in Jaden Davis. So it'd be a good thing, I think, for him to reclassify if he's able to. We'll see how it shakes out, but I do think he will commit within the next 16 days. 16 days. Okay. Caden Huffler says, Mike Hart, new assistant head coach with Biff leaving, #Michigan. Yes and no. That title, or maybe the assistant or associate head coach, which is typically pre-Rich Rod, associate head coach is always kind of seen as like the senior assistant who's going to be there a long time. Think Fred Jackson or someone like that at Michigan that isn't in line to be a coordinator. So it's kind of like the old guy who's not looking for a head coaching job, not looking to be a coordinator. It doesn't fit the Mike Hart mold. Also, Biff Poggi was not technically part of the coaching staff. They called him an associate head coach or whatever. But in theory, he was Jim Harbaugh's chief of staff, right? You want to talk to Harbaugh, you went through Biff. He's the one who kind of massaged Harbaugh, not like that. He massaged relationships, and Harbaugh paused, yelled at someone, or Harbaugh was sick of somebody. He would go figure out the situation, communicate a little bit better than Jim Harbaugh did, and now he's going to be head coach. So I don't think that's the role for Mike Hart. But I don't necessarily know if Mike Hart is looking to move on that quickly. I do think that if he sticks around with Michigan with the success they've had in the running game last year, this year. If he keeps that rolling, gets that chance to be an offensive play caller at Michigan in a couple of years, maybe Sharon Moore leaves after this year or next year, Mike Hart could become the true co-OC, maybe, and then he'll be primed to be a head coach somewhere else, by the time he's 40 years old, which is probably about 3 or 4 years from now. The Michigan Football Report is presented by BetUS, our sportsbook partner for the third straight season. Folks, go to chatsports.com/GoBlue. Jack, if you can get those links in the live chat, go in the live chat if you're watching live on Tuesday night, or just take a look at that link right there on the screen, chatsports.com/GoBlue, if you're watching this on the channel on later in the week. Get a 125% deposit bonus. You put in 100, you get an extra 125, 200, extra 250, 300, extra 375. And the producer in my ear says we're going to bring it back for Michigan versus Ohio State this week and next week. It's a week and a half special. We've sent out a ton of these in the past few weeks. If you've got a Michigan football jersey for free from us, go ahead and type me in the chat right now. Go ahead and go to chatsports.com/GoBlue. Use the promo code GoBlue when you sign up and you've got to deposit $100 or more. Please make sure you do that first step. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. Don't just Google BetUS and go and type it in because it makes the reporting more challenging than it needs to. A delay on getting your jersey. Deposit $100 or more, you get $125, 125% deposit bonus. Once you make your first bet, email us, jersey@chatsports.com. That is down in the description of the video, or we're going to put it in the live chat and the comments. Jersey@chatsports.com. Send us your BetUS account number. We'll get some information from you, like your address and what size, and we'll send you off the Jordan brand Michigan football #1 Michigan jersey from Jordan. So go ahead and do it. BetUS, get going with our sports book partner, chatsports.com/GoBlue. 125% deposit bonus. Free Michigan football jersey. Kind of a no-brainer, right, Jack? Kind of a no-brainer. All right, next question coming up from Bill Graves. He says, #Michigan, of course. Do you think we should do more play action and screens? Play action's been the most successful part of Michigan's passing game the last 7 games during the Big Ten season. So, absolutely. Now, if you do it too much, does it become – it's like if everybody's in charge, nobody's in charge. If every plays play action, then no plays play action, right? It doesn't catch anybody off guard. So, I think what Michigan's missing is intermediate passing. And I don't mean Michigan intermediate. Michigan intermediate's been like 12 yards. I'm talking about intermediate Ohio State passing, which is – 18 to 30 yards downfield, and not just always over the top on those kind of like I'm going to catch in stride or jump a guy or not, and it's only one guy can catch it if you perfectly time it up. I'm talking about those kind of post routes or the drag routes, 25 yards in between, cut in front of a corner or in a zone in front of the safety, and have J.J. McCarthy step up in the pocket, fire over those linebackers and hit somebody. When the linebackers kind of run up for the play action, you've got a big gap there. Michigan hasn't done it all year. Whenever they've done it, it's been 5 to 8 yard passes or less, or it's going way over the top, which they've been hitting at about 10% rate after the UConn game. So that's there. On screens, it's been missing all year, so maybe they've got something in store. Zach Smith on our interview on the live show said that doesn't happen, that they store plays for after the year, but Michigan has not been a very good screen team at all this year. I think they've really underused Diamond Edwards, still pending his injury news. We'll see how things shake out against Illinois and into the Ohio State game next week. Talk about the running backs, Blake Corum. How many rushing yards will Corum have this Saturday versus Illinois? Look, despite what you might think, and I heard a couple of haters on Twitter saying he wasn't hurt, look, he was injured, right? He's got a leg injury. I'm not going to say exactly because I don't want to put it out there necessarily, but he's got a lower body injury. He's got an upper body injury. They're not anything individually that would keep him out of a game like he couldn't play. Clearly, you saw that with 162 yards against Nebraska, but it's painful. It's not helping him out in any way that's making him a better player. And this would be a great week if Michigan could only give him 10 to 15 carries, maybe a touchdown or two, kind of pad the stats for that Heisman moment against Ohio State. But we don't know the status of Diamond Edwards, and it's going to be not a great weather day for Michigan Saturday. So let me know what you guys think about this game. Blake Corum, how many rushing yards will he have? I'm going to say 121 rushing yards. Let me know what you guys think. I got 175 yards, 3 touchdowns from Patrick Brewer. He seems to be really thinking that Blake Corum's going to have a hell of a day. That would be a first for him to have 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. A bunch of 2-touchdown games. That 5-touchdown games, though, he had under 100 yards. So first 103 touchdown game he would have this season. John Blaze, my guy, 10 more bones. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. We need to do a Yoder tailgate game at the Big House. Beat Ohio State again. I'm down. I only went to one game this year after all things said and done. I feel like once you have kids, it's just not as easy. So I don't know. Was going to go to one or two more games, but something came up. Son's birthday party, vacation. But nevertheless, Jack and I have been here every Saturday. We've been doing our thing for our post-game shows. Will the O-line be dominant next year? I have no reason to believe they won't be. I do think it's critical to keep Sharon Moore as part of this staff. The change in demeanor, the change in approach from 2019, 18, which we thought Michigan had good lines. Disasters in 2020, right? Ed Warner, I don't know. We all thought he was one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. I think Sharon Moore might be. I think this Michigan offensive line might win the Joe Moore Award for the second straight year as the best offensive line in college football. Sharon Moore got a promotion as your main offensive coordinator. Keep him, but he's the kind of guy who's going to look for an opportunity to be in offense. Or I'm sorry, he's an offensive coordinator now, a head coach somewhere. So I think it's something to be said. What does that offensive line look like once Sharon Moore is no longer part of this program? I think Jim Harbaugh has hired well recently, of course, and he needs to do that again once Sharon Moore moves on. Make sure Michigan's offensive line supports the running game that Jim Harbaugh clearly seems to want to have. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter, folks. If you haven't, it's at James Yoder. Jack, we're going to put that in the live chat. If you got me, Jack might put it in the live chat, but I'm coming up on 10,000 Twitter follows. I feel like we were just at 8,000 a couple months or so ago. I have had a good run. I've added like 500 or 600 followers in the past 10 days, really, since like November 4th. I just looked. That's 10 days I've added 600 followers, I think it was. So go ahead and follow me if you haven't. It's twitter.com/James Yoder, at James Yoder on Twitter. Just my first or last name. I'll tell you what, guys, I'll put my phone. If anyone follows me while we are live right now here on Tuesday night, I will follow you back. If you're watching, we put this on demand later on in the week. Just send me a link like, hey, couldn't watch live, but I'm following you, and I'll hit you with a follow back now. At James Yoder on Twitter. Jack just put it in the live chat as well. Got another question, though, coming in from Aaron Cooper. He says, do you believe that there's any chance Blake returns for his senior season? I do not, unless. 1% chance unless. That's it. 2 reasons, 1%. If both these 2 reasons happen. Number 1 is he gets terrible feedback from the NFL scouting, combine, draft people, where they say, Blake, you're going to be a 6th-round pick. You're going to be a 7th-round pick. You're going to be maybe at best a 5th-round pick. Then we think about it. He'd think about it, okay? I don't think that's going to happen. I think where most draft people have said is he is likely at best, if he tears up the combine, a late 2nd-round pick, most likely a 3rd-round pick, potentially a 4th-round pick, right? That's your best is the end of the 2nd round. Your worst is probably mid to late 4th round, likely 3rd round, early 4th. Okay, cool. What happens if that's not the feedback he gets after the season? Okay, cool. The number 2 is he still might go pro unless maybe a Michigan donor or a dominant YouTube channel, Jack, with 30 YouTube shows, somebody like that who does 100 episodes of an NFL programming a week on Amazon. A company like that, I don't know any companies like that, maybe Chat Sports, maybe we did a show with them that we paid him, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a month or something like that. I don't think we can afford the money that would keep him away from the NFL, but there are brands out there that would love a Heisman Trophy winner running back like Blake Corum that looks the part, can talk the part, sell some whatever apparel you have, whatever you're looking for to sell out there, life insurance, Nissan Heisman House, Dr. Pepper, whatever it is. He gets a $500,000 million NIL deal to stay another year, then you're talking. So those 2 things would have to happen. The chances they both happen between now and mid to late January when you have to declare for the NFL draft, I find to be highly, highly unlikely. Go ahead and type me if you want a shout out here on the Michigan Football Report. We got a few of you guys. Audience is starting to taper off here as we go into 9:57, coming up at 11 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock here in Dallas on Central Time. So type me if you want a shout out. John Blaze, who is our MVP still. Yeah, John Blaze, our MVP, show MVP. We got the hard hat. I'm going to put it on for you, John. We're after the cuts. This is just this is the happy hour now. I will take the coat off. It's a little chilly up in here. A little warm up in here, I should say. I'll put the hard hat on. John says Elon unshadow banned me. I know. He got rid of my shadow ban. I agree. That's why the Twitter is kind of popping off. Sam Webb trying to get Jack Dorsey to ban me. All right. We are – Jack, you hear me okay here? They're coming through. All right. If I don't – oh, shit. Can't really wear this headset with a hard hat on, so I'm going to go like this. Can't hear Jack, though, so I'm just going to be winging it here on the Michigan Football Report. Got some me's coming in. I'm going to go and pull those up for those of you who are looking for a shout-out. Whoops. I guess my thing's not refreshing here. Whatever. I'll go look over on this other one. Live chat. So got a me from Ron Hairston, Rock City. Hail to the victors from Patrick Brewer from Maryland. John Blaze again, Ron Hairston with a double me, and then Wolverine, Alaska, only 1,900 here, so going strong. Only so 7 o'clock. So, Alaska. Okay, I'm like, where's the? Okay, duh, your thing is Alaska. So it's only 7 o'clock there in Alaska. So they're 3 hours behind us then, right? Okay. So that would mean I thought they were 4. So does Alaska not do daylight savings? I don't know. I have to look. Let me know. Wolverine, Alaska is it? It's only 3 hours right now in Dallas in Central Time, 4 hours Eastern. Do you guys, there's certain parts of the world, certain parts of the country that don't do daylight savings, of course, and also, you guys might know this. We used to have an employee here at Chat Sports, Jack, you might not even know this, in Brazil, okay? Yes, and when the clocks turned, half the year he was like 3 hours ahead of us, and the other half of the year he was 5 hours ahead of us. Because I don't know if you guys look Brazil slices way over east, right? And so, or maybe it was 2 hours, 4 hours. Because when we go forward, they go back. And so, when they're on the southern hemisphere, so it goes from 2 hours to 4 hours. It jumps 2 hours difference. It's kind of wild to happen. But he says, why doesn't Alaska have a college football team? Good choice. It's 11 here. Jeff, he must be on the East Coast. And we have daylight savings. Okay, so they do. So it's always 3 hours, 4 hours from All right. We have got, you know what? We've got $170. So if we get 30 more Super Chats, we will FaceTime another member of the Ohio State football community. Oh, you should, Jack, tell the people yourself. Tell the people that yourself.
If we get to $200 in supers next week for the live stream, I'll dress up as Harbaugh.
Jack, a.k.a. Young Harbaugh. He is going to dress up as Jim Harbaugh. We'll have him up on the show. So if we get another $30.05 on Super Chat, we'll stay on live for about 5 more minutes, let's say.
I kind of already look like him a little bit, but I'll do the full outfit. I'll do the full outfit.
Khakis and all, Jack, a.k.a. Young Harbaugh. We're at $169.95 here on the Michigan Football Report. I like Wolverine, Alaska. We have our own time zone. Shout out to Flint, Michigan from Ron Harrison. Go Blue. Noof Dog says me or me. Wolverine, Alaska. Why don't we have a college football team? We're already under a foot of snow. It's 20 degrees. Damn, dude, that sucks, man. That's tough. I actually wish Michigan Ohio State was being played in Alaska, but tough. My cousin actually went about 17 years ago when he was in college. Went to Alaska for a summer, and he bartended just because he heard about it, and they played like softball at 4 a.m. because it was still daylight after the bartending shift got over and all the people there got there. I'm friends with the Michigan player who played, Mark Bill. Okay, I remember Mark Bill, offensive lineman, right? I think. So definitely remember Jeff Beecher saying there. So keep typing me. Let's go through a few more questions. Let's kind of run through some of the questions, Jack, and let's do the top 25 one more time to kind of wrap up today. We can show the Super Chat menu if you want to take one more stab at that too. It doesn't matter to me. So keep typing me if you want to shout out. We have got it's hit 11:01 on the East Coast, and we still have about 135 people or so watching. So kind of things are wrapping up here tonight here on the Michigan Football Report. $170 of supers right now. So if we get 30 more, we'll prank call an OSU fan. If you saw earlier, we prank called and then interviewed Zach Smith, former Ohio State wide receivers coach, former Florida wide receiver coach, 3 national championships as a coach. $5 a wheel spin that you guys have seen. It's like take a shot, wear a wig. I wore a wig earlier and some other things. Do 5 push-ups, do 5 squats, etc. Hard hat, if you're $20, we've got, I'm going to give some shout-outs here as my hair is probably crazy. We got Cruel Moti, John Blaze. We got Wolverine, Alaska, and his daughter, Leanne. Preston Yoder, my son. So those are our first members of the Hard Hat Club. Once we fill this bad boy up like a Michigan football helmet sticker, once we fill it up, we've got Michigan. We got plenty of room right now, as you guys see. Michigan there. Once we fill this bad boy up over the next few weeks into the next month, I will pick. We'll kind of have an auction off. We'll give it away. I'll ship it to somebody. I'll sign it maybe and ship it to somebody, and you can have a piece of memorabilia from the show. So our biggest, our MVP, toss him on the lower third when we get a chance, Jack. No rush. Is John Blaze. I think we had $55. So really appreciate $65 coming in from John Blake. So really appreciate, John, everything that you've contributed to the show tonight. And we'll have to do a tailgate. It's not going to be this year, unfortunately, because there's only one more Michigan football game. But if you're in LA, John, $65, you might put that towards that plane ticket next time. Help Jack and I get there. We'll do that for the national title game for sure. The second Monday of the year. Top 25 college football playoff rankings. That's the point of tonight's show that we started 2 hours and 18 minutes ago. Cincinnati, North Carolina State, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, and Tulane are 25 through 21. UCF going into the top 20. Florida State looking a lot better as a program, that's for sure. Beat LSU early on and had quite a few nice wins over the past month or so. Notre Dame lost to Marshall, lost a bad Stanford team. Kept it close versus Ohio State, but they've had a resurgence. They beat Clemson. They beat North Carolina. They're not going to finish in the top 6, of course, top 4, but they have a chance. They beat USC a week from now, and never know. They could end up in the top 10 with a bowl win at the end of the year. Washington got a big win this past weekend against Oregon. UCLA round out the top 15. Kansas State has a chance to win the Pac-12, the Big 12. I'm sorry. They win their next 2 games. And then they'll have a chance to take on a rematch of TCU, Ole Miss, North Carolina, Oregon, and Penn State. Keep rooting for Penn State. You want them to be in the top 10 to help Michigan's strength of schedule. Utah got the loss early on in the year against Florida, and I believe they lost to UCLA. Clemson lost Notre Dame badly a few weeks back. Alabama with 2 losses should be 4. And then USC, who still, I think, of that group right there, has the best chance to make the college football playoff in general. Clemson, I think, with 1 loss has a chance. But USC, if they beat UCLA, they beat Notre Dame, and then they win the Pac-12 championship game against – I'll have to look at the tiebreaker against either Oregon, Washington, or a rematch against UCLA potentially, then they could make it for sure with just 1 or 2 losses ahead of them. Top 6. LSU, they're going to play Georgia 2 weeks from Saturday in the SEC title game, so you have 1 more loss out of that group. Tennessee, they're kind of hoping Georgia wins because they lost to Georgia, and they don't want somehow a 2-loss LSU to jump them. Tennessee's number 5, TCU 4, Michigan 3, Ohio State is 2, and Georgia is your number 1 team in the college football top 25, 3rd edition of it. Here, the late edition on November 15th. We will be back next Tuesday at the normal time, 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Grade the committee's rankings A, B, C, D, or F as we get the sex bots back in the chat. Wolverine, Alaska. Night to you, brother. Really appreciate it. Stay warm, man. Cold weather. 20 inches of snow or somebody said? How many? A foot of snow? That's crazy. Stay warm and keep rocking. Keep showing the Michigan love up there in the, I guess, north of Canada, the neighbor of Russia, Alaska. Appreciate everything you've done. And, tell your daughter we said hi. I believe it was Leanne. Did I get that right? Yes, I didn't want to get it wrong. Leanne, thank you so much for the 20. She is part of the Michigan Football Hard Hat. We work hard here at the Michigan Football Report. But let me know your grading of the rankings A, B, C, D, or F as we start to wrap up tonight's show. Any more questions out there, Jack? Cool. We'll give anybody who has questions, we'll give 30 more seconds to use hashtag Michigan. If not, we will sign off here on the Michigan Football Report. Appreciate everyone who watched tonight here on the show, and appreciate the Super Chat love, $170, which is $69 more nice over the prior record, which we did last week. We don't really have a ton of Super Chats that we've done on the show. Only our third live show of this 2022 calendar year. Glad to see Coach Zach Smith. Wish he was a Michigan fan. Funny enough. And Jeff Beechler gives a B for the committee ratings. Patrick Brewer, go blue. See y'all the next one. Bosa. I'll have my Michigan football news and rumors roundup on the channel tomorrow about midday. And then the Q&A that you just saw, I'm going to put out Thursday or Friday, depending on the injury news. We'll do an original show one of those days to get you up to date on Mike Morris and Donovan Edwards and any other injuries that might have peaked up in practice this week as Michigan takes on Illinois on Saturday. On ABC, noon at the Big House, senior day for Ronnie Bell, who's going to the NFL draft, and a bunch of other potential Michigan players who are departing the program after this year. And it all shakes down 11 days from when we're filming this on Tuesday, maybe 9 days by the time you're watching this later on. Michigan, Ohio State, November 26th, next Saturday, noon on Fox in Columbus. We will see you guys later. We'll be live next week, 6:45 Eastern, 5:45 Central, again for the CFP Top 25. Until I see you then, go blue.